Alright, hello. Welcome back to All the Words She Wrote. Hooray. We are in a somewhat happy friendship with our dear idol, so that's good. Good for Mayo, good for us, good for Hidri. She ain't angry. I don't know how long this game is gonna be though. Dang. Because when I read online, it said that it was going to be like a good, maybe up to 6 hours. But I don't know. I'm pretty sure we're already past that. But then again, I'm a slow reader, so probably that's why it's longer. Audio is good? Okay, thank you. Alright, time to get into it. I spend the rest of the summer in Hidri's company, whiling away the time in fistfuls. Hidri prefers to remain indoors, but with a bit of coaxing, I'm able to prise her from her comfort zone. We don't go on any trips quite so far afield as of our jaunt to the beach, but we do go on regular walks in the woods. I find them relaxing, though Hidri continues to attract mosquitoes. They must find her particularly delicious. Maybe Hidri's blood really is sweeter than an average human's. Could that be attributed to all the pancakes she consumes? I'm almost tempted to test out my own hypothesis. Just kidding. Speaking of Hidri's love for sweets, we spot by Amu Cafe thrice more during August. Hidri has become something of a fan, despite her misgivings about the cafe's overly cheerly Hidri says owner. After eating our pancakes, we wander aimlessly through the town. We pursue the streets looking for small independently owned shops and chance upon an old antique store stocked full of curious wares. We eat ice cream, shield ourselves from the sun beneath the trees in the park, and once we even pay a visit to a batting center. Excuse me. Hidri doesn't play any baseball herself. She doesn't like sports, but she's content to cheer me on from the sidelines. The days run by in a blur, and soon August flies away from me. It came and went so quickly, it leaves me feeling dazed. September encroaches upon us, and when it comes to the fall, the weather takes a decently chilly turn, though the sun remains high in the sky, shrouded now by clouds. The release date for Volume 9 Elf Forest is drawing even nearer. Naturally, I'm excited. I've been looking forward to it for a long time. I can't wait to find out what happens with Itsuki and Princess Luna's relationship, not to mention Luce's supposed betrayal. Part of me regrets, however, that the summer should come to so abrupt an ending. I've been living with Hidri for close to 3 months. We got off to an unsteady start, but we've since come to an understanding. Hidri isn't my employer, and neither is she my idol. She's my dear friend, and I really do love spending time with her. I love being with her so much. In fact, I think I might enjoy her company more than I love the prospect of reading Elf Forest's newest volume. I really have come to care for her a lot. Later that month. Congratulations, Hidri. You've done a wonderful job. I'm so proud of you. I coupled my congratulations with a pop of a party popper, which I bought on the sly during the last grocery run. Colorful crepe paper explodes from the popper, then scatters across the tatami floor. The overall effect is somewhat less bombastic than I had hoped. It's rather underwhelming, in fact, but I hope my enthusiasm makes up for it. I can't help but be enthusiastic, for the long-awaited day has finally arrived. Volume 9 of Elf Forest has been released, and I'm anxious to get my hands on it. I want to head to the nearest Kinokuniya right now, so I can tear through Itsuki's latest adventures, but I was able to abstain long enough to prepare Hidri a celebratory breakfast. This is Hidri's special day, not mine. She's the Elf Forest creator, and Elf Forest is her baby. The lead up to the Volume 9th release, or birth if you want to continue the metaphor, was a long, arduous process, but she finally accomplished it. I think she should be happier about this than anybody else, but Hijri, alas, doesn't seem to agree with my hypothesis. The bags under her eyes are pronounced, though not to a worrying degree, and her lips are pursed to an expressive line. She eyes the crepe streamers curled on the tatami floor like the discarded skin of many colorful caterpillars and frowns. I thought I hired you to keep my house tidy, not make unnecessary mess. I hope you're going to clean that up later. Of course I am. That should go without saying. Should it really, though? With you, I can never tell. Now, what is all this for? Hijri turns her eyes away from the paper streamers towards the tabletop, where the real star of the show sits. There, resting on a large circular plate, is an extravagant strawberry shortcake topped with smooth white icing and shining, gem-like strawberries. I know cake isn't a standard breakfast food, but today isn't a standard day. I wanted to give an extra mile to commend Hijri's achievements, and pancakes seem far too simple. I know Hijri likes pancakes, but even a child can whip those up, if given the right ingredients. A decadent cake packed full of sponge and cream seemed the way to go. Did you bake this for me? Yep. I bought all the ingredients on the sly and woke up bright and early to put it together. I thought maybe you'd like it since you're a fan of Western sweets. I sampled a bit of it while I was mixing the icing, and I can confirm that it's very, very sugary. Hijri ponders, one hand beneath her chin. It seems a bit excessive. I hope you're not expecting me to eat the whole thing. I like sweets as much as the next girl, but that much icing sugar would give me heart palpitations. I figured, hee. Hijri is very small and this cake is very large. In retrospect, I might have gone a bit overboard. Don't worry, Hijri, I can cut you a small slice if you want. That is, and we can stash the leftovers in the fridge. It should keep for a little while. I just want to make you happy. Is that so? Hijri glances away, her head bowed. I think my earnest must have penetrated her austere exterior, because her cheeks are beginning to turn pink. You're such a busybody, Mayo. You can't leave well enough alone. I never asked you to do any of this, but, well, I can tell you went through a lot of effort. I'm glad you're so excited about Elfor's newest volume, even if I'm not. And, Hijri glances sly back at me, beneath her eyelashes. The cake you made looks delicious. It's like something you find in a store. You're a very talented baker. Thanks. It's like one of the only things I'm any good at. I grin, abashed, my own cheeks pinking at Hijri's praise. I'm pretty pleased with how the cake looks myself, but it wasn't made to be stared at. The proof is in the pudding, or is it in this case, the cake? Sit down, Hijri, and let me cut you a slice. How much of it do you want? A little bit is fine, thank you. Like this? That should be sufficient, yes. Alrighty. I slide the sharp, silvery blade of a kitchen knife into the cake and lever out a small slice with a strawberry on top. I place this slice carefully on the plate, which I then slide to Hijri. I brewed some asmentine too, to go with the cake. It should complement its sweetness. Shall I pour you a cup? Jeez, you're so desperate to please. Hijri scoffs, but I can see the smile on her lips, small though it is. You sound like a hostess at a sleazy bar. Have you been to many sleazy bars? Maybe once or twice. Was this research for a story? It was a personal interest of mine. These bars didn't live up to my expectations, though. They stank of cigarette smoke, and they were full of sad, overworked businessmen with thinning hair. The hostess themselves were caked up in makeup, and though they tried to act bubbly, he could see their disinterest. It was all a bit bleak. That does sound kinda grim, yeah. I muse while pouring Hidri a cup of fragrant aspen. I hope I'm not bringing your mood down. No, you're not. I can tell you care a good deal more than a typical hostess, although you're also being paid a lot more than a typical hostess would be. Hey, I'll have you know that I like you even if I wasn't being paid. I'm not in it for the money. People always say that. Though in your case, I think you're naive enough to say that without any ulterior motives. You ought to be careful, or somebody will take advantage of you someday. Are you calling me stupid? Perhaps I am. It certainly wouldn't be the first time. I'm sure even you will admit that you're not the most intelligent person in the world. Excuse me. Not that you need to be. You have other talents. Such as... You're very kind, for one, perhaps to a fault. I don't think I'm worthy of your admiration. Yes, you are. There's nobody more admirable than you. There are many, many people more admirable than I am. But I'll keep quiet for now. Speaking about bitter things makes sully the sweetness of the shortcake. Hidri picks up her fork, then slides it into her slice of cake. She brings the tines of the fork to her lips, and after what seems unbearably long pause, slides it into her mouth. I watch Hidri from across the table, quivering with anticipation. I don't know why, but it seems imperative in this moment that Hidri should like my cake. I don't want to fail her. So what do you think? I ask, all breathy, wide-eyed anxiety, once Hidri swallows the first mouthful of my cake. It isn't too sweet, is it? I might have used a bit too much sugar. It is very sweet, certainly. Some people might consider it sickly. What? Oh no. My shoulders slump into a tandem with the sinking of my stomach. I figured Hidri would like the cake to be extra sweet, but even she must have her limits. This is supposed to be a day of celebration, and I've spoiled it. I really am stupid. Excuse me. But, as I've told you many times, I'm not some people. I'm a firm believer that sweets ought to be sweet. The more saccharine, the better. Life is bitter enough as it is. Then... my heart fills with a rekindled hope. As wide-eyed, I stare at Hidri. Do you like it? I do, yes. It's a wonderful cake, so much so, it makes me feel a little sad. What? But why? I'm afraid that I don't deserve it. And once you read Volume 9 of Elfforest, you might agree with me. I only hope it doesn't disappoint you too much. Uh-oh. I eat a slice of Hidri's breakfast cake myself, which is so sweet it makes me shudder, then get ready to leave the house. I put it off for so much too long already, and I'm desperate to get my hands on the latest volume of Elfforest. I ask Hidri if she wants to come with me for the ride. Perhaps we can have a walk afterwards, but she declines. I don't know if I want to see people queuing up to read something I wrote. It's quite surreal. And it's a bit embarrassing. I didn't peg Hidri as the resilient type, not when it comes to her writing, at least, but I think it's kinda cute. Who knew she would be so humble? I reassure Hidri that there was nothing to be embarrassed about. I'm sure Volume 9 will be great, as I'm finished sliding on my shoes by the front door. Then I bid Hidri goodbye, which he responds to half-heartedly and step outside. I made the drive to the nearest town dozens of times during the last few months, mostly for groceries. These meandering country roads once perturb and confuse me, but I'm pretty familiar with them now. I can take even the tightest hairpin turns with relative ease, measured in the knowledge that a few people travel around these parts. The journey should be pretty relaxing. But this morning, it seemed to take way longer than it should. I feel tense and on edge, my fingers wound tightly about the steering wheel. Every second spent not reading the newest volume of Elforest seems like a second wasted. I'll bet the nearest Kinokuniya has been flooded with people since it threw its doors open. The really hardcore fans might have camped out in front of the shop overnight, though I don't know if any Elforest has any followers out here more ardent than me. Some people will have gotten their grubby hands all over the Volume 9 already. The really speedy readers might have finished the whole thing. I bet the internet will be flooded with spoilers about the latest story developments. People will be picking apart every single plot beat, trying to puzzle out what happens next. Has the plot with the Arcanist been resolved? What about Luce's supposed betrayal? Will Itsuki find the missing Liluna in time? And most pressingly of all, will Itsuki and Liluna finally kiss? The hype is really starting to get to me. I'm so excited, I can scarcely sit still. Though that might be an after effect of all the sugar I consumed over breakfast. That strawberry shortcake was devastatingly sweet. Eventually, after what feels like an eternity, I reach my destination. I park the car up in an empty lot by the supermarket, cut the ignition, and step outside. It's a pleasantly warm day, not too hot nor too cold, but my palms are beginning to sweat regardless. I don't have time to examine my surroundings. There's only one thing on my mind, namely Elforest. I'm so excited to grab its latest volume. I all out run to Kinokuniya, my heart thumping all the while. When I get to the bookstore, I'm greeted by a queue of people. They must have woken up early like me, spurred on their love of Elforest. I've never seen this many people in the town before, but their numbers aren't too overwhelming. These eager Elforest fans are being waved inside the store at regular intervals by a bored-looking clerk. I don't think he understands the well-deserved Elforest hype. If he did, he wouldn't be yawning. I join the back of the queue. It takes about 10 minutes, if that, before I'm allowed inside, which is a vast improvement over the wait time I had on Volume 8. I still lived with my parents in Kawasaki back then, but I felt obliged to head over to my nearest bookstore on launch day to pick it up. That, as it soon transpires, was a big mistake. I had to queue for around an hour before I could get into the store, and once I was in, an Elforest fan stepped on my foot while another bumped my side with their elbow. I was lucky to emerge from the melee relatively unscathed, with only minor bumps and bruises. You think that it's a nice thing being surrounded by like-minded fans who share my hobbies, but Elforest fans are something else. They're kind of crazy. I should know, being a crazy fan myself. Seeing Princess Liluna's face on the front cover of Volume 9 feels a bit like a returning home to a loved one. Simply gazing upon her sweet face, drawn in exquisite detail, makes me feel at ease. Luce and Astra also appear on the cover, but they're a bit players to Liluna's majesty, shunted to either side so Liluna can stand front and center. I take it from this composition alone, Liluna will feature heavily in this volume plot. Could this be the volume she and Itsuki finally confirmed their love? Oh, still, my beating heart. I pull a copy of the Volume 9 from one of the shelves, then head over to the cash register. I pay for my purchase with shaking fingers, my body quivering with anticipation. The cashier takes an unfathomably long time to back up my purchase, or so it seems. He moves so slowly I start to tap my foot against the ground, agitated. Can't he tell how desperate I am to start tearing through this volume? Doesn't he care? I want to be reunited with Liluna again. I have half a mind to tell him to hurry up. I almost feel like I might die, but at long last he eventually hands me my purchase. Thank you for your custom. Have a nice day, ma'am. As a person with first-hand experience of how cruddy customer service jobs can be, I usually try to play nice when dealing with the store clerks, but today is no ordinary day. I don't have the wherewithal to interact with ordinary humans. I just want to see Princess Liluna again. I snatch the bag from the clerk's outstretched hands, then hurry from the shop without so much as a thank you. I think about driving back to Hydri's home to commence my reading, but the half-hour delay is unbearable. I want to get stuck in right away, and so, to that end, I decided to stop by Amu Cafe. The cafe is quiet as always, which should be a perfect environment to chew through a few chapters. Amu greets me jovially, then guides me to a seat. I order an oolong tea, then lean back in my chair and crack open my latest purchase. I only meant to read a bit of the story, but once I get stuck in, I can't stop. I tear through paragraph after paragraph and page after page, leaving my oolong tea unforgotten, unsipped by my side. We got an achievement. Plot twist. There's no way this story is going to end like this, is there? Oh boy. I thought she said the two other characters were on the cover. It shows that they're not even on the cover. Only Princess Liluna. Bruh. Hydri's writing is so detailed, I find myself pulled once more into the complex fantasy world of Elf Forest. The characters are just as I remembered, but absence has rendered them even more lovable. Astra is still incapable of admitting her true feelings. Luz is haughty and austere, and Liluna, she's every bit as charming as she's always been, despite being embroidered in the kidnapping. She's so considerate, she's even able to commiserate with her kidnappers. Princess Liluna really is a good girl. She'll always put others before herself, regardless of their status. She doesn't have wings like Vita, but she might as well be an angel. I read one chapter, then another, and another. Time passes, detonated by the circular clock set upon the wall, but I pay no heed. It feels like I've fallen down a rabbit hole into a pocket of reality separated from the passing of time. I need to know what happens next. What will Itsuki do? What is Luz plotting? Will Liluna be rescued? Soon, too soon in fact, I reach the final chapter of the volume. Things are beginning to come to an end now. It's been revealed that Luz, despite her position as a royal knight, has been sharing information with the Arcanist on the sly. She's the one who plotted Liluna's kidnapping, all the sake of bringing down the kingdom. Luz's father was wrongfully imprisoned by the king for a crime he did not commit, and since her youth, she was sworn of revenge upon the royal family. Though she acts kind and mild-mannered, they are nothing more than a front. The real Luz is a deeply calculated woman who means to bring an end to the royals' rule. Itsuki, Astra, and Cornelia confront Luz in the forest, where she's been hiding. Itsuki pleads with her to halt her machinations, but Luz refuses. She takes Liluna as a prisoner and threatens to slit her throat should Itsuki come any closer. Itsuki hangs back, unsure of what to do. He wavers. And during this moment of indecision, one of the Arcanists strikes. He means to cut Itsuki down where he stands so he can no longer interfere with their plans, but he doesn't strike true. Liluna warns Itsuki of the danger despite the blade held at her throat. Luz tells Liluna to hush her tongue, but Liluna doesn't listen. In tears, she confesses to Itsuki that she was the one who summoned him to Cristeria. She wanted a brave knight of her own who could protect her, but now she's placed him in a horribly difficult situation. Liluna apologizes for putting Itsuki in harm's way and tearfully professes her love to him. Liluna tells Itsuki that she was the one who brought Itsuki to her kingdom. She must now give her life for his sake. It's the least she could do, after all, for Itsuki has saved her many, many times throughout the last 8 volumes of Elf Forest. Liluna closes her eyes. A blinding white light surrounds her. Astra cries at her to stop. Please halt, Your Majesty. The spell will surely kill you, but it's too late. Liluna's magic fells to the Arcanists surrounding Itsuki and his party. They all drop like dominoes, including Luz, who hitherto held her blade to Liluna's neck. The danger has passed, but Liluna... Itsuki hastens to her side. He catches the young princess before she can topple to the ground, but he can tell at a glance that there's nothing that can be done. Leluna's body is heavy in his arms. Her skin is deathly pale, and her eyelashes are matted. She doesn't stir, even when Itsuki pleads with her, and Cornelia and Astra. Astra rarely expresses her emotions, but the sight of Leluna's crumpled body makes something inside her break. She sobs over the princess, her eyes full of tears, begging her to please get up. My lady, my dear princess, my best and only friend. Astra plaintive cries make Itsuki's eyes brim over. Salty teardrops onto Leluna's smooth white cheeks like a wintry rain, but she remains insensitive to it. Her eyes remain shut, as though sewn together. She doesn't move, doesn't speak, she doesn't even breathe. No way! The final illustration of the volume of an unresponsive Leluna lying in Itsuki's arms hits me like a truck, like the same truck which hit Itsuki in L4's very first chapter. Oh no. The time that I got reincarnated into L-Forest. It feels like the air has been knocked out of me. I can hardly breathe. I scan back through the last chapter, hunting desperately for some kind of sign everything will be alright, but no. The conclusion of the latest volume doesn't change. It still ends in Leluna's noble sacrifice, her lifeless body clutched tight in Itsuki's arms. Tears begin to bead in my eyes. I feel sick with shock, and I can't stop shaking. Princess Leluna just confessed to Itsuki like I always wanted. She told him that she was in love with him, and then, before they could kiss, she died. Leluna sacrificed herself to save the man she loved. Now, she's no more. Her soul has departed her body. Not even Astra's magic can revive her. It's all over. Princess Leluna is dead. Uh-oh. How could you, Hijiri? How could you? I confronted Hijiri, my voice wavering, once I arrived back at her home. I was so incensed during the drive back I almost veered off the road a few times. My heart is still hammering, both from the adrenaline of my awful driving and the shock of Princess Leluna's death. L-Forest has always contained dark elements, but this is the first time a major character has been killed off. If anybody was going to die, I thought it would be one of the minor heroines, like Cornelia or Vita. I wouldn't have minded their passing so much. Vita barely has a presence in the story, as it is, but Princess Leluna? She was the very first person Itsuki met when he was summoned to Cristeria. I was convinced that Itsuki and Leluna would fall in love, then live happily ever after. That's all I wanted. That is impossible now, though. Hijiri has destroyed that possibility. She killed Leluna. Mayo. Hijiri starts when I enter her room. She looks surprised at my sudden entrance, and then after swiveling about on her chair at my expression. I don't know what I look like exactly, but my face must be frightful to make Hijiri shrink away from me like that. Mayo, are you alright? What happened? You know what happened. You know that I love Leluna. I told you she was my favorite character, but I swallow. Putting my thoughts into words is painful, as though, by naming everything that happened in L-Forest's latest volume, it'll make Leluna's fate feel even more real. I wish what I had read had been a piece of mean-spirited fanfiction uploaded into some obscure corner of the internet, but no. Leluna's death was chronicled in detail in Volume 9 of L-Forest, penned under Tsuchimi Ryu's name. It's official, there's no denying it. There was even a full-page illustration devoted to Leluna's death. It was a beautiful illustration, but it was wasted on so macabre a scene. I can only glance at it, but it feels like it's been imbued upon my subconsciousness, regardless, tattooed on the insides of my eyelids. Princess Luna is dead. Getting this off my chest doesn't make me feel any better, as I predicted. I think I feel worse now, in fact, than ever before. It hurts, and yet... Yes, she is. What of it? Hidri doesn't seem to care at all. Her cool response only adds further insult, in fact, to my existing injuries. What of it? I echoed Hidri's dumbly and my eyes wide. What do you mean, what of it? Luluna's dead. And? Hidri frowns. Though she seemed surprised at first by my sudden outburst, I think she's begun to regain her composure. That stoic is the expression of her back of her face, her lips pressed together as though she's made of stone. She's only a character. She fulfilled her purpose in the story, so I thought I might as well get rid of her. Don't get so worked up about it. How can I not get worked up about it? Luluna's more than just a character to me. She was Your what? Hidri watches me grope for words, still seated upon her chair. Her face is illuminated in the light from her monitors, so her cheekbones seem to glow in her otherwise dingy bedroom. Please don't say she was your waifu. You'll make me throw up in my mouth. She was my waifu, though. I love Luluna. I've been a huge Elf Forest fan for 3 years, but it was Luluna who drew me into the world. I've reread all of her important scenes dozens of times. Whenever I felt down, I always thought of her and she cheered me up. I have thousands of pictures of Luluna saved on my laptop, and hell, I even own her figures. I have a mug with her face on it. I love Elf Forest, but I love Luluna even more than that. I told you how I felt about her. I told you that I liked her, and you still killed her. How could you do that? Oh, please. Hidri looks away from me, her lower lip curled in abject disgust. I understand being attached to fictional characters, but you're taking this much too far. Why, you're acting as though I just stabbed your grandmother to death. Both my grandparents are already dead. Like I stabbed an uncle then? Or your mother? Oh goodness, I don't know. I'm flattered that you like Luluna so much, really I am, but you need to keep things in perspective. At the end of the day, she's nothing but a figment of my imagination. As her creator, I can do whatever I want with her. I've been uncertain about what to do with Princess Luluna, actually, for a long time. She was the first heroine to be introduced in Elf Forest, and her character arc concluded at the end of Volume 3. Since then, she's just been taking up space. I couldn't think of any new storylines involving her, so I decided to remove her from the narrative. Given she's such a popular character, however, I thought it would be for the best if she went out in a suitably heroic way. I thought that was the best thing I could do with her. Hidri glances at me from over her shoulder, her eyes narrowed. And if I'm being quite honest, I've grown tired of her. It's hard to make characters interesting when they're unwaveringly, incessantly nice. I like sweets, but Luna is too saccharine even for me. I never intended for such an insipid character to become the face of my whole series. I'm sick of receiving fan feedback asking for more scenes with Luna and more sappy romance. That isn't what I'm interested in. It's not what I want to write. I hope by killing Luna off, I'd had some wiggle room to write more interesting stories in Elf Forest universe. If my so-called fans can't accept Luna's passing, then that's their loss. It proves only that their enjoyment of my series was shallow and superficial. I don't want to appeal to people like that. I couldn't care less about their opinions. What? Then... Hidri's words pierced me more keenly than acupuncture needles. I have to take a step back, winded through. Nobody has physically hurt me. I press one hand on my chest, my fingers fisting on the fabric of my shirt. My heart hurts. It's beating so hard. I'm afraid if it might burst. Did you kill the Luna to punish your fans? Don't tell me you're actively trying to sabotage your own series' popularity. So what if I am? Hidri narrows her eyes. As L4's author, that's my prerogative. I can do what I want with my own series. Within reason. Say wasn't very happy, I'll admit, with the direction Volume 9 went in. Neither were the other higher-ups at Horizon, invested in L4's success. Say asked me to reconsider, but I refused. My mind was made up. I told her if I couldn't do what I wanted with my story, I'd stop writing it altogether. Then the story would never be finished. That was enough to twist her arm. Princess Laluna's fate might be unpopular among my fans, but it should sell copies at the very least. It's not boring. It should keep people invested in L4, and in the end, that's all that really matters. Hidri. I stared at Hidri, my eyes wide, as though I'm seeing her for the first time. My poor heart is aching. Don't you care about your fans? Don't our feelings mean anything to you? Excuse me. No, why would they? You're consumers, not creators. Why should I listen to you? Because we're the ones who made L4's popular. If it wasn't for us, you wouldn't be living in this nice house, and you wouldn't have so much money. You owe your success to us. Oh no, Mayo. There's a grain of truth in that, I suppose. Hidri's brown eyes met mine. They're cold and hard, devoid of warmth. But I don't owe you my time, nor my patience, nor my sanity. Working on L4's these last few years have been a profoundly miserable experience. I've been so caught up trying to please other people, both my publishers and my fans, that I wasn't able to please me. Eventually, I started to wonder what's the point of writing is if I'm not enjoying myself. I didn't create L4 because I wanted to make money. I created it because it was a story I wanted to create, with themes I wanted to explore. I had fun with this series once. But when L4 became popular, it stopped being mine. I lost sight of my original goals. I wanted to try and correct that. I wanted to write things. I want to write things that I actually find interesting. Can't you understand that? No, I don't. I can't understand why you hold your fans in such contempt. And I can't understand how you could kill Princess Laluna. I already explained how. It was quite a simple matter. Writing Laluna's death scene only took a handful of hours. You... My fingers clenched at my sides. I'm so angry, my whole body is quivering. Can't you hear how you sound right now? You sound like a villain from some cheesy robot show. And you, Mayo, sound like an escapee from an asylum, getting this upset about a fictional character. Laluna might be fictional, but she's felt real to me. Oh, grow up. You shouldn't get so attached to a fantasy princess, not your age. You're an adult, you ought to act like one. Maybe you should take a leaf on your own book. Resorting to petty name-calling isn't exactly mature. And anyway, you have no right to get mad at me. This is what you wanted. You admitted it yourself. You're trying to upset your fans. Well, you certainly succeeded in that front. You've got what you were after, so you might as well enjoy it. I spread my arms out like a theatrical effect, like a character on stage. If only this were a scene from a story like Princess Laluna's death. But it isn't. I'm standing in Hidri's bedroom facing her down, and I'm shouting at her. I'm really shouting. I've never raised my voice at her before. I never imagined that I want to, or that I had a reason to. I was wrong. I want to be your friend, Hijiri. I do. You were mean to me from the moment we met, but I persevered. I did all I could to support you in your writing, and you've thrown it back in my face. That is a stupid thing to say, Mayo. I forgot Mayo's dumb. This isn't even about Princess Luna thing. Not anymore. I didn't mention it because I didn't want to make a scene, but you always talk down to me. You're snide and you're rude and you're mean, and I don't think you've ever once cared about my feelings. I've been trying to understand you, but I don't think you've ever once tried to understand me. I'm sick and tired of having such a one-sided relationship, and I'm tired of acting like such a stuck-up bitch. A bitch, am I? My voice rose in volume during my scream, but Hijiri's by contrast has become softer, meaner. She surveys me archly through lidded eyes before continuing. If you really think that, then I don't think there's much point in you continue to live with me. I'll have to ask you to leave. What? I stared at Hijiri, awestruck. It's funny, but during my diatribe, I'd never considered the things that this might happen. I must have forgotten in my self-righteous anger that Hijiri is more than my idol, more than my friend. She's my employer, too. I've been living under the same roof with Hijiri for the last 3 months, with her approval. If Hijiri were to retract her approval, I had no choice but to go back. Hijiri, wait, you can't be serious. But I am. I wouldn't joke about something like this. Contrary to what you might think, I'm not a sadist. I don't want to inflict my company on you further. Not when it's clear it's upsetting you. As such, I think it would be prudent of me to terminate your contract. It's sad that things didn't work out between us. But the world is full of such sad things. I'm sure you'll get over it. As for me, meanwhile... Hijiri glances away from me. I can only see her in profile, but I can see her lower lip wobbling all the same. It looks like she's trying to swallow down her tears. I really did think that you wanted to be my friend. I believed in you, but maybe that was a mistake. How could you ever be my friend, Mayo, when you value my stories more than you value me? Ooh, she got your ass there. You might think that I'm a bitch, and maybe I am. But at least I'm not a liar. Ooh, damn. Yeah, no, Mayo was wrong. Like always, Mayo is in the wrong. God, Mayo is annoying. She's a fucking idiot. Hijiri is right. Although Mayo can voice her opinions on her favorite character and all, in the end it is the author's choice on what to do with said character. Mayo's just a dumbass. But hey, Hijiri was right for sure. Mayo seemed to only care about her stories more than her relationship with Hijiri. I feel so drained after my argument with Hijiri, I can't bring myself to say or do anything. What can I say or do, really, when things have fallen apart so spectacularly between us? Hijiri shooed me out of her home in disgrace, without so much as a goodbye, or perhaps more importantly, a good riddance. She didn't even deign to spare me so much as backwards glance. Hijiri was so keen to get me gone, I had only had the time to pack a few of my belongings. I stuffed some shirts and skirts into my messenger bag, but that's all I was able to take with me. The rest of my clothes are folded up in the drawers of Hijiri's newly unoccupied guest room, along with all my Elf Forest merchandise. I wonder if I'll be able to get my stuff back. I like to get my hands on my Elforce figures at least. Not even the thought of Princess Luna 1/7 scale can console me. How can it when the character who inspired said figure is dead? Boo-hoo for you, Mayo. I grit my teeth together. My body feels tense, like a drawn bowstring. I can hardly believe I said so many awful things to Hidri. It's true enough that I was upset, but I definitely took things too far. I want to apologize, but even I can tell stupid enough that I am. It's too late for that. I've already ruined everything. There's no way I can ever face Hidri now, not even to retrieve the rest of my belongings. Say will have to collect all my old stuff on my behalf. Not that it matters. My Elforce merchandise will never be able to fix how wretched I feel. I sigh, my cheek pressed against the dirty train window. The old-fashioned train rumbles along, down rusted countryside tracks overgrown with tall grass. Mountains surround me on all sides, lush and green, and so do fields of swaying yellow flowers. I can't recall what these flowers are called. I think they have a funny name, not that anything seems funny in my current state. My soul, my very reason for living, feels like it's been scooped out of my body. And one day I lost not only Princess Luna, but Hidri's friendship and my new home. It's not a great feeling. In fact, I feel pretty rotten. The compartment about me sways as the train judders along the line. My forehead bumps against the window at irregular intervals with a series of dull thuds. It hurts quite a bit. Moving would be a trivial issue, but I feel too fatigued to even entertain the thought of sitting myself upright. All I can do now is slump, like a tent without any poles. I kinda hope her mom just starts yelling at her. Be like, so, you got fired because your dumbass couldn't keep her mouth shut about something you like. Real mature. Like, there's obviously nothing wrong with voicing your opinions about something you like, but you have to also be able to be open-minded for reasoning why someone else might disagree. Excuse me. I've never really known what I wanted to do with my life. I've been adrift for a long time, incredibly aimless, but working as Hidri's housekeeper gave me a newfound routine. I loved Hidri's stories earnestly from the bottom of my heart, and I loved Hidri too for writing them. I was passionate about helping her, and where has this passion led me? On a decrepit old train meandering through the countryside on my way back to Kawasaki. Now whose fault is that? My messenger bag lies on the ground before me, pigeon on my place by my legs. I'm not sure why I'm bothering to hold on to it when the rest of my life has fallen apart. I could let it go, the few clothes I savage, and my phone, and my wallet, and my keys alongside it, and I wouldn't care. What else do I have left to lose? Okay, the way... It was so dramatic. Like, oh my god. Sometimes you just have to aggressively grab people by the shoulders, and you gotta shake them. You gotta shake them very aggressively to get shit through their head. Honestly, May, all because of the death of her favorite fictional character. I know losing something you like is obviously will make you sad, will make you a little depressed. But over a fictional character, yeah, Hidri is right. Mayo needs to grow up. The rumbling of the train echoes in my ears. My head hurts. Outside, the scenery flashes by, mountains and forests and fields blurred all together, nothing more than a faint and distant shape. Is it raining outside? No, the weather's too fair for that. The sky is clear and blue, though I feel cast into the doldrums of despair, and the sun is shining. The fault, as always, lies with me. Well, you got that right. Ah, it takes me a few moments to realize it, but when I do, I gasp. I'm crying. Boo hoo for you. I'm almost glad that the train journey back to Kawasaki takes so long, because it gives me enough time to try and piece myself back together. With great effort, I'm eventually able to stem my pathetic sniffling. I wipe my eyes on the back of my arm, then force my face into a look of a mask-like indifference, my red-rimmed eyes narrowed and my lips bruised. I've often likened Hijiri to a Jesus statue, but I feel like stone myself as I walk through the ticket barrier at KQ Kawasaki Station. It's still bright when I step onto Kawasaki's familiar streets, and the sun sears the top of my head. The streets are crowded with people, so much so I feel disorientated. I only spent 3 months in the countryside, but that wasn't enough time to disconnect me from the hustle and bustle of city life. I walk back to it with my head down. I feel too ashamed to meet anybody's eyes. The crowd that swells around me is anonymous, and I'm afraid unfeasibly so that everyone knows what I've done. I've been sent away from my old home in disgrace. I'm a complete and utter failure. When I pass by Blue Mountain where I used to work, I briefly wonder whether Nina is there behind the counter, but I don't go inside to check. I don't feel up to seeing her. I don't feel up to seeing anybody, really, or doing anything. Thoughts churn in my head like garbage caught in a fast-running river. What will my mother say when I arrive back home? My father? I didn't tell either of them about my return, despite having several hours to text them during my train journey. It's not like I had anything else to do, other than mope, but said moping took precedence over everything. I did fish my phone out a few times during my homeward journey, but I couldn't bring myself to type anything. Confiding in my parents was and is a frightening thought, but I can't keep putting it off. I take a right down turn to a residential street, leaving the more built-up area around the train station behind me. There are still people here, lingering on the sidewalk, but there aren't nearly as many. The soles of my shoes slap against the ground, and my messenger bag bumps against my side. My house is coming into view, and I take another right turn, and there it is. It seems to loom in front of me, though it's not a particularly large home, only 2 floors, with a flat rooftop with a spiky television aerial. My parents' home is far, far smaller than Hijiri's spacious abode in the countryside. She has no neighbors to speak of, whereas my parents' house is squeezed, tightly between 2 others, number 38, between 36 and 40. My parents' house doesn't have much in the way of a garden. There's a few bushes at the front of the house and a small strip of manicured lawn, but that's about it. There are scarcely any trees around here, only gray sidewalk. Hijiri's home has never felt further away. I miss it, but it's too late for regrets now. I can't go back. I know this logically, but it still takes me a few moments to unstick the soles of my sneakers from the sidewalk. I have to force myself to take the steps forward. Walking 5 paces feels like a monumental challenge, worthy of being an event in the Olympics. I feel exhausted and I haven't gone inside yet. That will be a challenge on its own right. It's Friday, so my mother should be at home. I bet she's sitting in the living room, flicking through a magazine or maybe cleaning up in the kitchen. She won't be expecting to see me. It'll be a nice surprise for her. If by nice surprise you mean horrible shock. I hope she isn't at home. While she doesn't work on Fridays, there's a chance she might have gone to the supermarket. That should delay having to tell her the truth, if only for a few minutes. Not that a few minutes would be enough to get through my thoughts in order, not by any metric. I've already had 4 hours, and not even that was enough. My heart pounds as I stand at the front of the door, fishing for my keys. It's beating horribly loudly, so much so I feel like I'm going to be sick. Everything feels 10 times more difficult than it should be, and in my anxious state, I almost drop my keys. I can't seem to do anything right today. Is it any wonder my mother despairs of me? I know she'll be extra disappointed at my inglorious return. Zay gave me a wonderful job she practically handed to me on a platter, and I screwed it up. I'm so stupid. Yep, at least you know about yourself about that. I take a deep breath, trying and failing to steady my nerves. Then I slide in the key into the lock and twist it. I still find myself hoping I'll be forbidden entry, but no, the lock clicks and the door easily opens. I step inside my parents' home, then close the door behind me with a dull thud. This sound reduces my mother, who, as luck would have it, happens to be at home after all. I hear her voice from the living room, paired with the soft thud of her indoor slippers against the wooden floor. Is that you, Yukihiro? You're home early. There wasn't any trouble at work, was? My mother begins, but her voice trails off when she sees me. Her eyes meet mine. Mayo? My mother frowns. She looks stunned at my sudden, inexplicable appearance, but this was only last for a few moments. She must be worried about me because her voice soon gives way to stern. Mayo, are you alright? Did something happen? During the last 4 hours, I prepared myself to face my mother's disappointment, even her anger. I didn't think she'd be so sympathetic. I really must look awful. I can't confirm it, not having seen my reflection in the mirror, but I can tell by my mother's expression how dire things must be. I know my clothes and my hair look a mess after my long train journey, and I managed to cry all my makeup off. I can't stop shaking. I've been doing my best to keep it together, really I have, but my mother's gentle concern makes something snap inside me. The dam burst. Then, with a loud cry, "Oh, Mom, I'm so sorry. I did something so stupid, and now I've ruined everything. I'm such a moron." I fling myself into my mother's arms and begin to sob. Boo-hoo for you. Oh, Nina's here. What do you think I should do, Nina? Did I ruin everything? Will Hidri ever like me again? Wow. Nina blinks at me, perturbed. She's sitting at the edge of my bed, one leg folded over the other. She looks very sleek and fashionable in contrast to me. I'm curled up on my side, hugging a pillow tight to my chest. It's a little after midday, but I'm still wearing my pajamas and my hair's a mess. I haven't felt much like getting changed lately, or showering, or brushing my hair, or even eating. I spent the last couple of days since my dismissal from Hidri's home, holed up inside my bedroom, feeling sorry for myself. On the plus side, I think I might have lost a couple of pounds. But the negatives far, far outweigh the positives. I feel like I'm going crazy. All the subjugation I've inflicted on myself can't be good for my self-esteem. I don't feel in a fit state to have guests, but I'm glad Nina came over regardless. It took me a whole day to muster up the courage to send her a text informing her of my situation, but the moment I did, she agreed to drop everything solely for my sake. Nina mightn't look much of a good girl, but with that dyed hair and her acrylic nails, well, she's a definite sweetheart. I don't know if I deserve such a considerate friend. I feel like I don't deserve anything much other than, I don't know, death or maybe disembowelment. Okay. I wouldn't want to be too melodramatic. It's not like I've gone and gotten myself fired, all while ruining my relationship with my idol. You're like pretty cut about this, huh? Gee, do you think? What tipped you off? I glance at Nina beneath my bangs. They're getting in the way of my eyes, but I feel too tired to brush them aside. I've really messed up this time, Nina. I don't know how I'll ever make amends with Hidri, if I even can. I'm afraid she'll never want to speak to me again, not after all the stuff I said to her. What did you say to her exactly? I gave Nina a brief account of my blowout with Hidri over text, but it was very abridged. I'm not sure I was able to communicate how rapidly the situation descended, especially given all the typos I made in my text. My fingers were shaking quite a bit before I sent it. I don't want to go into it now. Talking about it will only make me feel worse. I did call her a bitch, though. No kidding. As if I kid about something this serious. Jeez, that's not even the worst thing you could say to a person, I guess, but it's not exactly polite. I know, right? I'm so stupid. I hug my captured pillow even more tightly to my chest, my head buried in it. I feel so ashamed, while with my messy hair and pajama-clad body, I can no longer bring myself to look Nina in the eye. Would you forgive me if I called you that? I guess it depends on the context. I'd be a little pissed off for sure, but I don't really hold grudges. They're like a huge pain. I'm glad you think so, at least. Not that I wanted to exploit Nina's kindness, I failed to see what I gained by calling her a bitch. Between the two of us, I'm definitely bitchier, though I know I don't look the part. I don't wear half as much makeup as Nina does. It's funny how that works out. But Hidri's not like that. She's definitely the type who holds grudges. She was pretty aloof when we first met, but she thwarted out over time. I thought we'd make a real connection, and then... I sighed, but it comes out sounding more like a groan. I went and screwed it all up, like I always do. If I hadn't run my tears ducts dry that day prior, sobbing into the self-same pillow, I'd probably cry. Fortunately, I feel so dried out and desiccated, the tears refuse to come. I don't even feel sad about my current predicament, not anymore. I progressed beyond that. Now I just feel empty. I said so many horrid things, all because of a fictional character. Princess Luna isn't even real. There was no need for me to get so angry. I still don't know why I blew up like that. It makes no sense. I sounded like a real crazy person. You mentioned that in your text, yeah. I don't really get all this all-forest drama, but you are sure got yokes up because of Luna. That's Luna. If I had the energy, which again I don't, I'd throw a pillow at Nina's face for that. The Luna might be dead, but Nina could at least honor her memory by getting her name right. Don't disrespect the deceased. Sorry. Nina apologizes, but she doesn't sound very sorry. I still don't think she understands how much Luna meant to me. Maybe she'd have more of a clue if I blew up at her like I did Hidri, but I've exhausted all my anger already. I don't want to push Nina away too. You know, I don't know much about Elf Forest. All these fantasy names are like totally over my head. I can't remember them. I don't mean any disrespect. I was just wondering. Maybe Lunara wasn't the thing that made you snap. That's the second time Nina pronounced Luna's name wrong, even after my correction, but I guess I'll let it slide. It's not like we're in class. She isn't going to be graded on this. What do you mean? You said Hidri was cold to you when you first moved in, yeah? I remember you telling me about it on the phone. You seemed pretty cut up about it. That's true, yeah. I haven't thought of Hidri's earlier callousness in a while. I figured the whole being ghosted by my idol arc had been all wrapped up until this happened. Maybe this isn't the thrilling sequel to that story beat. It's help. I've been ghosted by my idol too. The resentment returns. I hope there won't be any further installments of the series. I'm worn out. Maybe you still had some negative feelings over all that. Princess Lunara's death could have been like the trigger that set you off. It doesn't sound like Hidri was all that nice to you. She might have deserved it. Though, even if that was the case, it doesn't sound like you dealt with this in the best way imaginable. I'll dealt with it like the worst way ever. I wish I could see Hidri again. I miss her. Even though she was mean to you? Again, you can... if her personality is like that, it's just like that. There's no malicious intent behind her personality. But again, she was her employer first most. Mayo, you're as dumb as me, ho. Excuse me. She wasn't all that bad. She did end up apologizing, though she was still kind of snippy about it. She poked fun at me a lot, but it didn't really bother me. I think that's just the way she is. She's used to keeping people at a distance. Maybe it's because of her family situation. It doesn't sound like she has the best relationship with her parents. Not that I know very much about that. I don't know much about Hidri at all, really. I wince. And I had the audacity to call her a bitch. I mean, who does that? People who are very upset? Well, yeah, I was upset, but now it all seems so stupid. I just opened my mouth and all this crap tumbled out. It wasn't very well thought through. I didn't think about what I was going to say at all. I didn't think about Hidri's feelings either. I was so selfish. Oh, hold on, I will be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. Mayo, you're an airhead. Mayo, maybe you should be put on a potato. Anyways, I didn't think about Hidri's feelings either. I was so selfish. Now I'm afraid I've really upset her. And it's been weighing on your mind? I can't think about anything else. Then why don't you call her? Explain the situation. You do know her number, don't you? I do, yeah, but I'm afraid. Of? Of being rejected. I don't know if I could bear it. Not a second time. I still haven't recovered from being kicked out of her home. It hurts. So, you're just gonna keep on hurting instead of trying to fix things? It's too late to fix things. Is it? Or are you just saying that because it's easier to tell yourself that? I know you, Mayo. You always take the easy way out. You're so lazy. I thought you might have matured a little, but maybe not. You're just the same as you've always been. It's kind of disappointing, to be honest. I mean, you're in love with her, aren't you? Huh? I've been feeling insensible these last 2 days, all wrapped up in my despair, but the big L word cuts through my despondency. And poor Mayo, she's like, la 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 la, the L word? What is, oh? I scramble upright, still clutching my pillow, my eyes agog. What are you talking about, Nina? You don't really think that, do you? I do, yeah. I thought it ever since you called me that one time, sounding like a lost little girl. You're like head over heels over Hidri. You felt awful when she ignored you, but you still put up with it. Hell, you forgave her for it because you care about her so much. Most people wouldn't do that, not unless they really like the other person. You can put up with a lot of crap when you're in love. I don't know about that. I respect Hidri a bunch, sure. She is my favorite author, but I don't think that's the same as love. I've only known her for a few months. Does that matter? It's not logical. People aren't always. You're so illogical as they come. Nina snorts. Give it some thought. You'll see that I'm right. For the last few months, Hidri's all you've been able to talk about. If that's not a sign that you're obsessed, I don't know what is. I don't reply to this. I can't find the words. My head is reeling. Could Nina be right? Do I really have a crush on Hidri? I've not given it much thought, but if it's true, I go a long ways to explaining why I feel so wretched. I've had arguments with friends before, but they've never made me feel like this. It really does feel like part of me has been torn out and thrown into the trash. So I love Hidri. I guess I can accept that. Strangers things have happened. I've never dated anybody before, guys or girls, but I figured from my first year of high school I preferred women. I had some pretty intense relationships with other girls on internet forums during high school, and my relatively recent obsession with Princess Luna kind of confirmed that what I already knew. I'm not super surprised about this. It's kind of a relief, actually, having my feelings spelled out for me. But what am I supposed to do about them? No matter what Nina says, I'm way too chicken to call Hidri, but that's something I absolutely can't do. Not with the memory of our argument still fresh in my mind. I don't want to endure even more abuse at Hidri's hands. That hurt more than ever. Now I finally know how I feel. Isn't it too late to make amends? Ooh. Time passes, but none of it registers. It feels like I'm living outside a bubble, sealed away from the outside world, and in a sense I am. I don't even try to leave my room. That sounds like way too much effort. I while my days away in bed, doing nothing of my real importance. I can only bring myself to leave my room when I need to go to the bathroom and to eat with my parents. I could tell my parents are worried about me, even my mother. I thought for sure she would scold me over my stupidity. Heck, I feel like I deserve it, but even if that is what she wants to do, she shows a remarkable amount of restraint. She doesn't harangue me to get a new job like she used to back when I worked at Petite Jardin, then Blue Mountain. Her face creases with concern whenever our eyes meet, which isn't all that often, and our gloomy meals are punctuated with her insistent queries. How are you feeling, Mayo? Any better? Do you want to watch a TV drama with me this evening? It'll be fun. The two of us together. It's nice to know my mom cares so much. But I think she might care a little too much. It's overwhelming. When I'm alone, which is most of the time, I can't help but think about Hijiri. I want to see her again, but I want to see her so badly. It's like a physical ache. It gnaws at my insides, more insistent than my hunger pains. It doesn't matter how much or how little I eat, I still feel hollow. I'd do anything to fix my relationship with Hijiri. I'm so desperate, I'll even be prepared to throw away all my Elf-Forest merchandise. I love Princess Luna even now, even her ultimately death. But Hijiri was right, she's just a character. She's a character that means a lot to me, granted, but she isn't real. Hijiri, meanwhile, is. Princess Luna can't smile at me, she can't hold my hand or hug me, whereas Hijiri. But that's a total non-starter. Hijiri's never been the most touchy-feely of people. She didn't even like it when I hugged her, even when we were sort of friends. There's no way she'd let me hug her now that we're feuding. I can't imagine she ever bothered to give me the time of day again. I might have had a chance once to deepen our relationship, but I threw that away. I ruined everything. Excuse me. It doesn't matter now what I do. I don't think Hijiri will ever forgive me. That's why I can't bring myself to call her, though I came perilously close to it on several occasions. I'm no psychic, but I'm pretty sure I know what she'll say. Sorry, I'm not interested. Please don't call me again. I don't want anything to do with you. Didn't I make that clear already? You really are an idiot. The imaginary Hijiri who resides in my head would be right too. I am an idiot. If I had a modicum of intelligence, I'd let Hijiri go, but I can't. It feels like she's taking up residence inside my head. The more hopeless our relationship feels, the more I want to be with her. I want to see her and touch her and tell her. Oh, I want to tell her so many things. First and foremost, I want to tell her that I'm sorry, I was out of line. Won't she please forgive me? Unfortunately, that ship has sailed. Ooh. I curled up on my bed, flipping through a fashion magazine. Look at glossy pages, but I don't really see them. My mind is full, as always, of Hijiri. It's almost been 2 weeks since I've seen her. I wonder how she's doing, but I suppose I'll never know. Jeez. I exhaled, my breath disturbing the pages of the magazine. I need to cut this out. I'm making myself miserable. I like Hijiri a lot, yeah, but there's no point yearning for something I can't have. I'm upsetting myself, not to mention my family. My parents are worried about me, and so are my friends. Nina's been too busy to see me again, what with her beauty school stuff, but she's been calling me almost every evening. The concern in her voice is palpable. I don't want to be a burden to anybody else, not like I burden Hijiri. I'll take it a while to get over it, but Hijiri's rejection doesn't sting quite as much as it did. I'm healing, bit by bit. I think I'll be alright. I don't need her. I don't want her. That's what I try to tell myself, but... Oh? I start. I can hear the doorbell ringing. It's a Wednesday, which means my mother's at work, so is my dad. They both set off a few hours ago. I'm the only person here. I wonder who it is at the door. Maybe a delivery man? My mother might have ordered something, though if she had, she surely would have told me about it. I don't much feel like rising from my bed, but... Geez. The doorbell rings again. I don't know who it is at the door, and I don't really care, but they sure are being persistent. Alright, I'm coming. I grumble, not that my mysterious visitor can hear, and toss the magazine to one side. It's midday or thereabouts, but I'm still wearing my pajamas like yesterday. I didn't bother getting dressed, and my hair is still loose. I must look a sight. No self-respecting person should still be in their pajamas after I glance at the clock quickly, then blink. Excuse me. It's later than I thought. Almost 13. I should get around to fixing lunch. I should have fixed it about half an hour ago, actually, but I didn't feel hungry. I don't feel hungry now either. I mostly feel tired. Damn, I had a big burp. Whew. Anyway, I'll give the delivery man quite the sight. No doubt he'll judge me. What is this slovenly girl doing? He'll think, looking me up and down into my pajamas. She looks like to be in her 20s. Doesn't she have a job to get to? Don't tell me she's loafing around at her parents' expense. What happened to having a day off? Even if a delivery man comes up to your door, I'm assuming you have a day off. I frowned. I might be able to make it as an author myself, not that I have a discipline to write a whole book, because that sounds pretty darn believable. Oh well, it's too late to worry about my appearance now. I don't have the time to get dressed. The delivery man might not like me in my pajamas, but he'll just have to suck it up. I pad across the hallway, then down the stairs. All the while, the doorbell rings. A shrill, tiny cacophony that makes my head hurt. Cut that out. I'm coming as fast as I can. I jump the last 3 stairs, stumbling as I do so, then straighten. My bare toes curl against the wooden floor of the entry hall. The doorbell is still ringing. What's this delivery man's problem? Do you think he was handling precious jewels given his insistence? I know that can't be the case, though. My mom's nowhere near rich enough to be splashed out on pretty trinkets like that. It's more likely this guy's got like 0 patience. Manners don't cost anything, you know. I mumble routinously as I approach the door. My fingers curl about the door handle. I pull it down, then push the door out. Yes, what is? I begin, my lips pursed into a frown. But my voice soon trails off when I see the person standing on the doorstep. The person is a diminutive one, almost a full head shorter than me. I've seen middle school students taller than this, but her face is clearly that of an adult's, devoid of a baby fat. Her hair is long and thick and curly, tied back in 2 messy buns. Her eyes are brown like a caramel, underscored with the startlingly dark bags, and her skin is dark. She's wearing a white sweater with a pink dress atop it, which flutters in the breeze about her calves. It's these clothes which throw me. I've never seen her wear anything like this before as long as I've known her. She's favored baggy tracksuits. The deep bags underneath her eyes do work against the summery freshness of her looks somewhat, but I suppose they suit her. She wouldn't be herself if she didn't look at least a little fed up. It is, of course. Hidri? Aww. We got achievement, happy ending. Phew, it looks like everything worked out after all. Aw, she looks cute though. That's right, it's me. Hidri replies in a cool manner, undercutting my own confusion. She makes it sound like this encounter is nothing all that special, certainly. Nothing earth-shattering, but... When I peer at Hidri, I can see that her face is flushed, and she isn't quite looking me in the eye. I think she must be a bit embarrassed. That makes me feel a little better, I guess. This is still a lot to take in, though. Hidri, I swallow. My voice is shaking, just like the rest of me. I feel all faint and insubstantial. A single gust of wind could blow me away. Is it really you? Well, who else would it be? Hidri harums her snub-nosed turn up in the air. Now stop gawking. You look harmless when you do that, like you lost leave of your senses. You let flies in if you don't shut your mouth. Oh, Hidri. Strange though it may sound, it's Hidri's needling which finally reassures me. This really is Hidri. It has to be. No apparition would be so cruel. The Hidri in my imagination would pardon me without a second thought, but this Hidri seems rather more inclined to make me work for my forgiveness. I prefer it that way. It's what I deserve after saying all those awful things. I think I want her to punish me. What the fuck? I wonder what that would say about my character. Do I enjoy being bullied? That's a bit of an unnerving thought, but I'll push it to one side for now. It doesn't matter. It's unimportant. Trivial. All I can think of right now, all I want to think of is Hidri. Oh. Hidri. I sniff. I can feel my eyes filling with hot, thankful tears. Hidri, I missed you so much. Oh. I'm sorry about all that, Hidri. I was kinda acting crazy. I giggled bashfully, my head bowed, as I recalled my conduct from earlier. I was so overwhelmed to see Hidri standing on my doorstep without any prior warning, I think a critically part of me malfunctioned. My brain melted and my eyes soon followed suit, tears secluding down my cheeks, like, I don't know, slug lime? I couldn't see my own crying face, but I doubt it was a pretty sight. I don't sob like the other girls in romance manga do, their teeth perfectly round and pearly, their makeup immaculate. I wasn't wearing makeup during my breakdown, thank goodness, but I bet my eyes went all red and puffy regardless. My nose started running too, and I had to wipe it with the back of my arm. That was embarrassing enough, and then the hiccuping started. These weren't the one or two delicate hiccups, oh no. These were hiccups of the most vengeful variety that made my whole body convulse, like possessed kids do in horror movies. That's when wicked spirits creep inside them. It was, as Nina says, a lot. It's a wonder my antics didn't scare Hidri away from my doorstep. If I'd been in her shoes, though quite cute shoes by the way, white edged sandals, I know I would have bolted. Fortunately for me, Hidri isn't as skittish as all that. She let herself inside my house, well technically it's my parents' house, while I was still sobbing, insensible, and shut the door behind us. Then she led me into the kitchen living room, sat me on the couch, then ruffled through the unfamiliar drawers looking for the kitchen roll. Once found it, she took her prize back to me and pressed it into my palms. I thanked her through my sobs, my face all damp and blotchy, and wiped the tears and the snot away. My tears have finally subsided along the hiccups, and now I feel slightly more normal. At least I can breathe now, without choking on my own tears. I'm acutely aware that I'm still in my pajamas, my sleeves streaked with snot, and my hair all rumpled, but it's probably too late to worry about such things. Hidri has already seen me in my pajamas jeez. A quick scan of the circular clock on the wall tells me it's 13:24 now. 'Did it really take that long for my tears to subside? I'm making such a fool of myself. I'm glad Hijiri came to see me, of course I am, but I wish he found me in a slightly more respectable circumstance. The crying was probably unavoidable, but it'd be nice if I was wearing proper clothes. Oh well, if nothing else, it makes for quite the interesting role reversal. For once, Hijiri is the one properly dressed, whereas I look like a mess. I feel like a mess too. You don't think I'm crazy, do you, Hijiri? No, why are you asking me that? Hijiri smiles thinly. I know you're crazy. I figured that out from the start when we first met. Oh yeah? How'd you figure? You introduced yourself as an Elf Forest fan. Only crazy people like Elf Forest. It's not a good series by any means, but you get so incredibly emotional about it, I really don't understand you. Right. I wince, my head dipping. I feel ashamed anew, not only because of my appearance, which is shocking, but because of my past behavior, which was even more so. It really is a wonder Hijiri came here after all that crap I said to her. Why is she giving me the time of the day? I don't think I'd bother. I really am sorry I said all that, Hijiri. It was out of line. Yes, it was. Your behavior was utterly inappropriate. But after giving it some thought, I do have to wonder whether I wasn't also partially to blame. You mean about Liluna's death? No, I don't mean that. Princess Liluna is my creation. She wouldn't exist without me. As such, I should be free to do whatever I want with her. I won't apologize for killing her. I don't think that I did anything wrong there. Yeah, I figured as much. I smile, though it's somewhat strained. You're right. Elf Forest is your story. At the end of the day, no matter how attached I might be to it, you're the one who gets any say in how things shake out. I was being pretty egotistical, thinking my opinion mattered. I should have kept my big mouth shut. I would concur, in most cases, but I don't think you meant to cause any offense. Not at the beginning, at least. You were simply upset that your character you love had died. You might have taken it a bit too far. Yeah, that's me all over. But your reaction came from the strong connection you have to my characters. If my writing didn't resonate with you, you wouldn't have felt so deeply for Liluna's plight. It took me a while to realize this, but once I did, I decided that I couldn't hate you. You were simply trying to express, albeit poorly, how much you loved my writing. I don't think anything I've written has touched anybody that deeply before. It was flattering, I suppose. Here, Hijiri harums. At least it would have been if you hadn't vented into the territory of personal insults. I wasn't very happy about being called a bitch. Yeah, I run a hand through my hair. I haven't brushed it since last night, and it's all tangled like a bird's nest. I was so upset I wasn't thinking clearly, not just about Liluna's death, but about a whole bunch of other things. I know it sounds stupid. I am stupid, but, well... I let my hand drop to my lap. It feels heavy, as though my bone marrow has been turned to lead. You think my relief at seeing Hijiri again would have filled me with newfound energy, but it's actually the opposite. I've experienced in such a huge array of emotions this last half hour. I feel utterly exhausted, even more so than I did in the height of my misery, when I couldn't bring myself to get out of bed. All that crying really has taken its toll on me. I don't think I would have blown up like I did if you hadn't called your fans shallow. That's what really got to me. You said your fans didn't care about your writing or about you, but that isn't true. I really did love Elf Forest. I still do. I love it a whole bunch. I mightn't be the smartest person in the world. I'm pretty dumb, actually, and I don't know the fancy words real critics use when they write about stories, but I'm being sincere. I've always been sincere. I've been trying to tell you about how I feel about your work since we met, but it feels, I don't know, like you've been throwing my feelings back in my face, all 'cause you think I'm not smart enough. It's like my opinion doesn't matter to you. I think that's why I got so mad. It's not 'cause I hate you. I don't think I could ever hate you, Hidri. Even though you called me a bitch? That was in the heat of the moment. I don't really think that. Really? Hidri raises an eyebrow. She sounds icy, but to my relief I can spy the beginning of a smile forming about her lips. I don't think Hidri's that upset by my insult, not anymore at least. It's more likely, knowing Hidri, that she's trying to tease me. It's a relief. I'm glad our relationship has been repaired to the point where we can bicker like this, without worrying about bruised feelings. It's almost as though our argument has never happened, but believing that would be foolish. It's definitely happened. I still have the memories and all the hurt that came with them. It's not quite gone away, not just yet. Before Hidri and I can make up with one another, I want to get all my negative feelings out in the open. Yes, really, well. I clear my throat. You can be kind of mean sometimes. I don't mind too much when you poke fun at me. I know that's just the way you are, but you could take things too far at times. I try to act cheerful, but I do have feelings, and they can get bruised. I'm not impervious to insults. It upsets me when you ignore me, and I don't like it when you speak down to me. I don't know half as many fancy words and theories as you do, Hidri, and I know you're cleverer than I am, but that doesn't mean my opinions are worthless. I just wish you took me a bit more seriously. I'm not smart, but I'm always sincere. Yeah. Hidri replies after a small pause. I know. And I think you're right. It stung when you called me a bitch, but it wouldn't have if it hadn't been some truth to it. I am a bitch. You were right. I do look down on people, my publishers and my fans. And you too. I like to tell myself that I'm smarter than everybody else because it all really I have. It's always been this way with me ever since I've been a child. My parents split up when I was younger, and well... Hidri's voice trailed away. She shakes her head. I won't go into the details. That was a very long time ago, but it left a mark. My mother had to work 2 jobs to support us. She was almost never at home. And when she was too tired to pay me much attention. I think she might have resented me. We argued often about silly petty things. Things I don't want to think about. Oh, Hidri. My expression softens. I had no idea. I heard that her family situation was messy, but I hadn't realized quite how messy it was. It sounds like her childhood was a difficult one, devoid of real parental love. Didn't you have any other family willing to help you? We did, yes. My grandparents were supportive. They wanted to send my mother money to alleviate our financial burdens, but my mother refused all of their aid. What? But why? Because she was stupid. My grandparents, my mother's parents, rather didn't approve of her relationship with my father. They thought it was all far too fast and ill-conveyed. I suppose the fact he was a foreigner may also have played into their doubts. My grandparents were very traditional, I suppose you could say, though that's putting it charitably. Naturally, this upset my mother. She ignored all of their warnings and eloped with my father behind their backs. She was younger than I am now when they got married. She was only 21. I'm sure she thought her relationship was very romantic, and perhaps it would have been if my father hadn't started cheating on her. And I lean in, my eyes wide with curiosity, though I think I know where this story is going. What happened? I don't recall too much of it. I was only 6 years old at the time. Some of my earliest memories are these vicious arguments between my parents, though. My father was the one in the wrong, but the way my mother confronted him. Hijiri shudders. It was terrifying. She accused my father of, all sort of things. I'm not sure how much of it was true. Maybe all of it. Maybe only parts of it. My mother was paranoid. She hurled a lot of abuse at him. She even threw things once or twice. I don't know what I ever saw in you. My parents were right. You've been deceiving me this whole time, she would say, and other such words to that effect. I'm paraphrasing. Well, in the end, it wore my father down. He filed for a divorce, and he left my mother and me. I've not seen him since. I can't remember much about him, really, other than the arguments. I don't know how much of my mother's accusations were true. So why didn't your mother accept your grandparents' help? It was because of her pride. She always had a lot of it, more than she really needs for such a fool. Hijiri snorts. In that sense, we might be quite similar. She couldn't forget my grandparents, you see, for being prescient about her relationship, and then for being right. She thought accepting their money would be tantamount to admitting defeat. At least I think that's how she felt. She didn't tell me this, but I'm canny enough to guess. I think I'd probably feel the same if I was in her position. Not that it makes me feel any better about what happened. If my mother hadn't been so stubborn, she wouldn't have need to work herself to the bone, and we could have spent more time together. My grandparents, you see, were rather wealthy. The house I live in now was theirs once before they passed away. My mother inherited it, but she didn't want her parents' charity. She really is an impossible woman even now, though she's old enough to know better. She's almost 50. Well, I wasn't about to let my grandparents' house go empty. I spent several happy childhoods in that place before my family fell apart, and I would have hated it to remain unused. I see. That explains how Hijiri ended up in such a spacious home, located deep in the countryside. I had wondered about that. I still can't forgive my mother for her stubbornness. I often think if she'd accepted my grandparents' help, we would have been much better off. I wouldn't have to endure such a miserable childhood, and I probably wouldn't have been able to spend more time with her. I doubt our relationship would be as strained as it is now. But it is too late for such regrets. I'm telling you this not because I want you to pity me, but because I want you to understand how I feel. I wasn't a happy child. My relationship with my mother was non-existent, and I didn't really have any friends. My classmates didn't tease me, but they all kept their distance. They didn't want anything to do with me, a peculiar-looking girl from a poor family who couldn't afford a proper winter coat. The only thing I really had was my intelligence. My grades were always the best since middle school among my peers, and I clung to that. It was all which stopped me feeling extraneous, I suppose. I was so unhappy, but my grades gave me something to feel good about. That's probably why I started to look down on people. I told myself that I didn't care that my mother was never around, or that my classmates didn't like me. I didn't want their approval. I didn't need it. I was superior to them. I know now that this was nothing but an immature coping mechanism. But it did help at the time. It gave me some manner of comfort until the accident happened. I think that was when I realized, lying in the hospital bed, how powerless I actually was. But I talked for too long already. I must be boring you. Oh no, not at all. You could never bore me, Hijiri. You're really too kind. I'm not being kind. It's the truth. Honest to goodness. If Hidri wasn't a skilled storyteller, I never would have been so drawn into the world of Elforest. The cute girls help, of course, but it was the story itself which really spoke to me. Elforest tells me the tale of Itsuki, a young boy from a broken home who hasn't seen his father in many years, and whose mother is so busy with work she barely notices her teenage son. Neglected and alone, Itsuki takes a wandering to the streets at night to escape his stifling home environment. It's during one such walk, on his way to the local convenience store, that he spaces out and gets hit by an oncoming vehicle. Itsuki's consciousness fades, but he doesn't really feel any regret when it does. Instead, he's relieved to be freed from his sad, lonely life. Thank goodness that's over, Itsuki thinks, as his head hits the asphalt. Now it can finally rest. But that's the only first chapter of Elforest. The story doesn't, of course, end there. If it had, the Seekers wouldn't have become popular as it is now. When Itsuki eventually awakes, it's in the magical realm of Krysteria. His head is resting upon the lap of a pretty woman, later revealed to be Princess Luluna, who peers at him with eyes brimful of concern. Luluna leans over him, her fingers threaded in his hair, and gently utters these words of compassion. "Thank goodness you're awake. I was so worried about you. Are you alright?" Princess Luluna's concern is so palpable that Itsuki, even in his dazed, confused state, feels his heart flutter. He's never known such tenderness before, and it moves him. His eyes begin to prickle with encroaching tears, and then he begins to cry. The opening sequence of Elforest's first volume has made me shed to tears too, on several occasions. Itsuki's feelings are so raw and real, they've always resonated with me, though I've never endured a similar situation myself. I was always pretty popular back in school with my classmates, that is. My teacher never liked me much, Dead-Eyed Sato in particular, but I never cared about their opinions. My parents have been happily married for the most part for almost 30 years, and I've never felt like throwing my life away. I've never been in a dire need of Princess Luluna to rescue me from my suffering, but I still fell for her, almost as deeply as, if not more than, Itsuki did. That's how powerful Hidri's writing is. It's impossible not to be embroiled in her world, or her characters, and now I think I know why. Itsuki's life before he found himself in Krysteria is nothing like mine, but it does sound a lot like Hidri's. Is that where she drew upon this inspiration to write Elforest? It's no wonder it all felt so heartfelt. Well, none of that matters now. It was a long time ago. Hidri's voice disturbs my thought. She observes me, her head tilted slightly. If Hidri is aware of my revelation, which she must be surely, she knows how much I adore Elforest, so she doesn't mention it. Instead, she smiles and says, "I've changed since then." That's what I like to believe, at least, but I started to wonder about that when you scolded me. I don't like being insulted, does anybody? But I think you were right. I am a bitch. I haven't grown as much as I'd like to. I still look down on people even now. It was a defense mechanism from my childhood, but that's not a real excuse. I'm not a child anymore, and I shouldn't act like one. I want to be more earnest, more optimistic. And I want to try being nicer to people too. I want to be like you, Mayo. Like me? That's right. I didn't realize it until you left me. For all my supposed book smarts, I can be awfully lacking in common sense, but... Hidri looks into my eyes. Her expression is surprisingly ardent. Her brown eyes are so wide I could fall into them. My heart flutters. I missed you. The house felt so dull and empty without you. I couldn't concentrate. I always thought that I was the happiest alone, with no company but my own. But being with you made me reconsider. I think in truth I've always wanted a friend. I was too anxious to admit that, though. Instead, I ran away and sought solace in stories. But I can't write anything if you're not there to cheer me on. Not anymore. It's not possible. I know this is a selfish request, not to mention a contradictory one, when I'm the one who told you to leave me alone, but... Hidri inhales. It looks like she's stealing her nerves. What does she want to say? Could it be? Dare I hope? I want you to come back with me. Ah! I stare Hidri, my eyes wide. Her chest is heaving up and down beneath her white sweater. She looks uncommonly worked up, almost at her wit's end, but still she soldiers on. Hidri isn't a coward, no matter what she says about herself. No, that isn't right. I need you to come back with me. I need you around, so I can feel like myself again. Hidri, does that mean you forgive me? Of course I do. Doesn't that go without saying? I forgive you. And what's more, Here, Hidri falters. She opens and closes her mouth, but no sounds come out. For a few moments, time seems to freeze. Hidri's face flushes redder than a strawberry, and then... Ugh! Aggrieved, Hidri throws her arms aloft. This is horribly cheesy, not to mention embarrassing, but I really do like you. And I like you despite yourself, just like Itsuki likes Luna. You make me feel, I don't know, like nobody else ever has. You make me feel like I'm important for more than just my brains, more than just my writing, more than just my success. You make me feel like I actually matter. And so, I think I might want to stay with you for a long, long time. I don't want you to leave me. Oh, Hidri. Hidri's impassioned cries makes my heart thump. Part of me thinks, though vaguely, I should exercise some self-control. There's always a chance of maybe mistaking her feelings. I often make mistakes after all, particularly when it comes to Hidri. She's an enigma at the best of times, and I'm an idiot. It's not the best of combinations. We're utterly ill-suited for one another, but for once, I think I understand her perfectly. I think I know what it is Hidri wants to say. It's exactly what I've wanted to say to her, ever since she booted me out of her home. I didn't think I would get the chance, but now I know that is something I was wrong about. I've never been happier to be proved wrong in all my life. I don't want to leave you either. I love you. What? You do? Yes, I do. I love you so much. Even though I'm mean to you? Even so. Even though I'm a bitch? We can work on that. Nobody's perfect. I'm definitely not perfect, but I don't think that matters. You don't need to be perfect to be worthy of being loved. Won't you let me show you that? Mayo. The two of us move together in almost perfect unison. For once we seem to be on the same page. I wind my arms about Hidri's shoulders, pulling her close. I dip my head, my eyelash falling shut while she tilts her head upwards. My heart beats hard, threatening to burst off my chest altogether. Oh! And they kiss. We have an achievement. Saying sorry. Is it too late to apologize? Why is that the achievement title? It should have been, and they kissed. Yay! Finally, they kissed. As soft with a sigh, my lips found Hidri's. I'm kissing her, and she's kissing me. We're kissing each other, our arms wound together, in the same room where Sei sat 3 months ago to tell me that Komikado Hidri was looking for a housekeeper. I never imagined back then, as I listened to Sei, the room full of scent of green tea, this would happen. While I knew I loved Tsuchimi Ryu, I didn't think I'd fall in love with the woman behind the pseudonym. Hidri and I endured a lot of storms to get to where we are now. I don't doubt there will be further tribulations awaiting for us in the future. But for the present, none of that seems to matter. I always thought it pointless to worry about the future. I know what tomorrow will bring. I'm going to spend it with Hijri. Beyond that, I don't need to worry much. I've done more than enough of that to last a lifetime. I'm going to keep kissing Hijri over and over until I impressed upon her just how happy she makes me. I hope I can make her happy too. I really do love her. Oh. So this is Miss Komikado. That's right. This is Hijri. Oh boy, the meeting of the parents. I beam earnestly at Hijri like a little kid showing off a school project. Maybe I'm being a bit too effusive in my phrase. Hijri's starting to look embarrassed, but I can't help myself. I love Hijri, and I'm not afraid of letting people know that. In fact, I want people to know that. I'm proud of being Hijri's girlfriend. Whoa, they made it official. Hooray! At least, yeah. That's why I asked Hijri to wait at my parents' home so I could break the news of our relationship to them. I could have up and left with Hijri after packing a bag and leaving a note, but that didn't seem right. I wanted to introduce them to Hijri. I think that'll make our relationship feel more official. My parents might be surprised that my first relationship at the tender age of 24 is with another woman, but then again, maybe not. They've all seen the Princess Luna merchandise I had in my bedroom. My fondness for cute girls is well documented. I want to be happy with Hijri, and I want my parents to support me in this happiness. I'm too old to skulk around their backs like a naughty teenager. It is very nice to meet you, Miss Komikado. Or would you prefer Hijri? Hijri is fine. Komikado is a bit of a mouthful. Alright then, Hijri. My father offers Hijri a polite, if suddenly be amused, smile. I must thank you for giving my daughter the opportunity to work for you. It's been a very good experience for her. Yes, indeed. We are in your debts, Miss Komikado, for giving Armeo such a wonderful opportunity. Call me Hijri, please. Hijri demurs, her eyes directed at her lap. And you needn't thank me for that. The housekeeping business was Say's idea. But you agreed to take my daughter in. That's how great of an amount of kindness on your part. I doubt others in your position would be willing to employ my daughter, not for so lucrative a position. Hey, don't make me sound like a charity case. I worked hard for my money, you know. It's not like I was coasting by on Hijri's pity. No, your mother might have the right of it. Hijri smiles thinly for the first time since sitting with my parents. I think she's beginning to get over her initial shyness, consoled perhaps by my mother's unintentional, or is it, needling. She and my mother might be quite similar. They both seem to enjoy digging at me. For the first time, I begin to panic. What have I gotten myself in for? I do love Hijri, it's true, but the smile of hers makes my heart flutter, and not in a lovey-dovey way. In the beginning, I thought of Mayo as a stray cat. I took her in out of the goodness of my heart, not because I had any genuine desire for a housekeeper. I thought her presence in my home would be nothing more than an unwelcome distraction. During the first few weeks of our cohabitation, I tried to ignore her. Here, Hijri's cruel smile softens to something sweeter, more sincere. But over time, something changed. I discovered that your daughter is, contrary to all outward appearances, quite the hard worker. She earned my trust, and later my friendship. We've had our ups and downs, as people always do, but after our last argument, Hijri's cheeks flushed. Abashed once more, she glances away, her long eyelashes trembling. I realize that, if I'm not to be frank, Hijri looks at me, her brown large eyes almost liquid, and it reaches out. She takes my hand. Her fingers curled about mine upon my lap, beneath the tabletop. This gesture is obscure from my parents' view, but they must be able to see Hijri shifting, not to mention how close we are. Our shoulders are practically brushing. This isn't standard etiquette between employers and employees, or even friends. Our relationship has transcended all of that. I wonder if my parents can tell. Is it obvious? I don't want to be without your daughter. Hijiri. Ah, geez, now I'm starting to blush. I didn't expect Hijiri to be so bold. It's a total surprise. My palms are starting to get sweaty, but I appreciate the gesture nonetheless. I didn't know Hijiri could be so possessive. I just threw my phone. Okay, whatever. She's clinging to me tightly, her nails digging into my skin, as though she can't bear to let me go. She really is taking this seriously. I like Mayo as a friend, but my feelings for her are deeper, even than that. I want her to live with me again, as she did, but I don't want her to be my housekeeper, not anymore. I'd rather she be my girlfriend. Silence fills the room following Hijiri's impassioned declaration. It's so quiet, you could hear a pin drop. The air is cloudy with steam exuding from our cups of green tea. I can see my parents through the haze. My father looks to be amused. My mother outright stunned. My nostrils tingle with the scent of green tea, and my skin prickles. I can feel my heart inside my chest, beating away at approximately a mile a minute. I feel almost ready to collapse. What will my parents say? What do they think? Time seems to drag on until... My goodness. My father is the first to speak. He still looks confused, but politely so. I think I can see the beginnings of a smile upon his lips. Surely that's a good sign. I didn't think when Mayo asked if we could talk, that would be talking about so intimate an issue. I didn't imagine. My father pauses, then shakes his head. But I've never had much in the way of imagination. That's why I've never dreamed of being a writer. My father laughs. I think he meant to relax Hijiri, whose shoulders are now incredibly stiff. This is all very sudden. But if that's how you feel about my daughter, then I'm happy to hear it. You are? Of course I am. I do have eyes, and I can see how my daughter feels about you. She's been out of sorts ever since she returned home, but her attitude has gone through a complete change after seeing you again. It is apparent you make her happy, and if my daughter's happy, then I'm happy. As a parent, there is nothing else I could want. Don't you agree, Maiko dear? My mother was sitting slack-mouthed and under silence following Hijiri's announcement, but she springs into action after being prompted by my father. She nods decisively, both hands clasped at her front, then declares, Oh yes, I've only ever wanted you to be happy, Mayo. I know I can be a bit pushy at times. A bit? Yeah, right. Try a lot. But that's only because I care about you. When I thought of your future, I never envisioned you would spend it with another woman. But you've never done things as I expected ever since you were small. You've always been infuriatingly willful, but I'd rather you do things that make you happy, as opposed to do things to make me happy. Your life is your own. I can't live it for you. I don't necessarily understand how you feel, but I'll support you regardless. You're my daughter, and I want nothing but the best for you. Then, does that mean... I stare at my mother with wide, surprised eyes. Are you alright with this? I had imagined my parents would be alright with it, else I never would have suggested Hijiri as I speak to them, but assuming is very different from experiencing. I'm starting to get choked up. My head is hammering, my palms are clammy, and now my eyes are stinging for the second time today. I hope I don't start hiccuping again. That would really be embarrassing, though it would be wholly unexpected. I just can't catch a break today. The last few hours have been a real roller coaster of emotions, and my mother's response is hardly helping. Of course I'm alright with it. There are worse things your child can do than fall in love. Why would I ever hold that against you? I don't know. I didn't think you would, but we do argue sometimes. About household chores, yes. But about your love life? I don't think that has ever come up. That's only 'cause I've never dated until now. True, I was worried about that actually. I worked my way through 5 boyfriends, or was it 6, before I settled on your father. What? Really? Yes, I do not mean to boast, but I used to be very popular. 'Cause she's Monica. You're not wrong there. I had to fight suitors off left or right before you agreed to even look at me. It was a veritable bloodbath. No way. I slumped back in my chair, stunned into silence. I never thought my mother of all people was a boy magnet. It just does not compute. My mother, as far as I'm aware, is a relatively plain, unremarkable woman who wears loose cardigans to keep her hair tied back in a ponytail. She's certainly no bombshell, but I guess she must have looked different when she was my age. Younger, certainly, and prettier? Maybe sexier? Yeah, no, I still can't see it. I can't think of my own mother as sexy. There's just no way. Okay, Mayo, don't be a weirdo. I am kind of tempted to try digging out some photos of my mom from way back then, though, to compare them. Where's our family photo album? I did worry for a time that you might end up alone, Mayo. It's a relief to hear that you're finally in a relationship with somebody. Unexpected though it may be, it's a huge weight off my shoulders. Hey, are you making it sound like I'm a total lost cause? That's not very nice. It mightn't be nice, but it is a precise point. Would anybody else be able to put up with your nonsense as I can? Not you too, Hidri. I scowled at Hidri, only smiles in response. My parents seemed to find this exchange hilarious because after a pause, they both began to laugh. I'm glad everybody finds my supposed undesirability so hilarious. Oh well, the real joke's on Hidri. She's the dummy who went and fell in love with me. Now she's stuck with me. I have no intention of leaving her. I love her an awful lot. Though I do wish she wouldn't laugh at me. Maybe it was a mistake to introduce her to my parents after all. I think they might be getting on a bit too well. Jeez. The world can be so cruel. Oh. We got another achievement. Behind the wheel. I'm yours to keep. Oh. Hey, Hidri. I was wondering something. What? Hidri glances at me, her head tipped to the side. It's been several hours since I broke the news off to my newfound relationship to my parents. Though if you want to be technical about it, I guess Hidri's the one who handled all that. Ahem. It's been a few hours since then, regardless of who said what, and now the pair of us are heading back home. My parents' house is long behind us, down a vast, stretching ribbon of gray road as of Kawasaki itself. Hidri and I are deep into the countryside now, the city and all of its congestion left in the dust. Shallow hills and fields pass beyond the windows, all running together like watercolor paints. The roads around here are narrower, and the ones around Tokyo with more twists and turns. I have to keep an eye on them despite these roads being more or less empty, lest I run the car into a ditch or a tree. That wouldn't be a good way to conclude the day, and I don't think it'd do much to endear Hidri towards me. We've only just made up, and then some time since our huge argument, our lives don't need any more drama. I've had quite enough of that. Still, the countryside is very pretty. It feels like it's been ages since I last saw it. I didn't think much of all this hills and fields when I first came out here, but this part of the country has a unique charm of all of its own. It's very soothing. At least it would be if it wasn't for the droning hum of the car's engine. We've got a little ways until we get back to Hidri's village. The drive is quite a taxing one, around 3 hours. It's quicker than taking the train since there's no need to wait for connections, but these roads are a nightmare. Now, I wonder. You drove to my parents' place on your own, right? Hidri nods while idly twinning a strand of brown hair about one finger. I had Sei tell me your address. Why? Is there a problem with that? Oh no, there's no problem at all. I'm happy about it, but... I offer Hidri a small smile, my fingers curled about the steering wheel. It's not something I would have expected coming from you. I thought you didn't like driving. I don't like driving. I can't stand it. And yet you still came all this way for me. I did. Yes. Hidri replies after a brief pause. I felt obliged. I was the one who cast you from my home, so it was on me to make amends. I knew that I had to see you no matter what. That seemed much more important than my silly fear of cars. You couldn't taken the train? The trains around here are too slow, not to mention unreliable. Then there's all the people once you get to Tokyo. Hidri pulls a face. I'd rather scoop out my eyeballs out than subject myself to all the hassle if driving was lesser of the two evils. But what about your accident? What about it? I thought it still unnerved you. Isn't that why you dislike driving? It is, yes, but it has been years since then. I should try to move on. Of course, that's easier said than done. I'm still anxious behind the wheel. As I discovered earlier today, I'm worried that my anxiety will never fully go away. Hidri looks down at her lap, her expression pensive. But with a strong enough incentive, it seems like I can put my fears behind me. I probably have you to thank for. Oh no, it's fine. If my fingers weren't curled about the steering wheel, I would have waved Hidri's compliments aside. They're much too effusive. My face is starting to get flushed, though it's not at all hot. Even the tip of my ears are turning pink. Excuse me. You're being too nice, Hidri. I didn't really do anything. No, you did. If it wasn't for you, I'm doubtful I would have worked up the courage to drive again. Which is something I need to do. I don't want to keep avoiding things that make me uncomfortable. I'll never be able to get better then. And in any case, you're no longer my housekeeper. I can't keep treating you like hired labor. I want to help you around the house, which means I ought to buy the groceries every once in a while. To do that, I need to get over my fear of driving. I don't want to put too much on you. It wouldn't be fair. I think it's fine. You're worrying too much. I wouldn't turn against you over something like that. You shouldn't push yourself too hard. We can take it slow. Baby steps. Alright? Right. Hidri replies after a small pause. Baby steps. I'll do my best. And I'll support you. I beam at Hidri, overwhelmed by my own love for her. I think it'll be good though if you can become more independent. You really do need to leave the house more. No, you sound like Sei. Good. I'm glad Sei's very sensible. She is, yes. She always knows what other people ought to do. I meanwhile, only pretend to be sensible. It's all veneer. In actuality, I'm very emotional. I'm afraid of things. A lot of things. I have a short temper, too. I'm petty and vindictive and childish like my mother. She made my father's life miserable until he couldn't take it anymore. He cheated on her, yes, but sometimes I wonder whether she drove him to do it. They argued a lot before she learned about his infidelity, and she was incredibly paranoid. She's always been a difficult woman to get on with, and so am I. Hidri exhales softly, her fingers wearing the sleeves of her white sweater. Mayo? Aha, I see it. Hidri's turn to ask me a question now. I think I can anticipate what it is already, but I'll play along for the present. What is it? You, don't think you'll get tired of me, do you? Aw, Hidri sounds so unusually anxious. I wish I could hug her. If I wasn't behind the wheel, I'd pull her up to me in a heartbeat, but unfortunately I have to keep my eyes straight, trained on the road. I do not want us getting into an accident. I'll be sensible for the present, but my urge to embrace Hidri doesn't abate. She really is adorable. Don't worry, Hidri. I've put up with plenty of your mood swings already. I think I'm pretty used to them by now. If you haven't scared me off yet, I doubt you'll be able to do it in the future. Just go ahead and try. I don't want to try. It's not something supposed to be a competition. Then you have nothing to worry about. I like you a lot, Hidri. I'm not planning on going anywhere, so long as you were willing to stick with me. That was the general idea, yeah. Then it'll be fine. I'm sure we'll hit some snags, but we can work them out together. Together. Adria leans back in the passenger seat, then looks to me beneath her sweep of long eyelashes. I think I like the sound of that. Me too. Isn't it funny how that works out? We must be on the same wavelength. I giggle. That means this is gonna work out. It has to. I love you way too much for it not to. You do? Yeah. I reply without a moment's hesitation, my face breathes and smiles. I really do. Oh. Ah! We did it. We finished the game. Oh. How nice. I guess we'll enjoy the credits. Oh. I will say, compared to Please Be Happy With Me, I like how these two relationship compared to like Aspen's confession, these two, their confession felt more like not rushed. It felt more genuine. And I really appreciate that as like for a story. This actually like felt good. Whereas like Aspen was like in a rush. But this was very nice. And now it's over. Oh. Thank you for reading. You're welcome. Oh. Oh. I can't believe it. The day has finally arrived. I'm so excited. I can hardly wait. Aren't you excited too, Hidri? Not particularly. Hidri's eyes me archly, her lips pursed. The pair of us are sitting together in the living room on the tatami floor, both parked in front of the TV. It's pretty late in the evening. A glance at the clock on the wall tells me it's 22:24, and the sky beyond the folding screen door is dark, all scattered with stars. Under normal circumstances, I'd be in a bath soaping myself down before going to bed, but these circumstances aren't normal. They're anything but, in fact. It's the 3rd of October and the first episode of the anime adaptation of Elf Force is set to air on TV in 6. No, make that 5 minutes. I've been waiting for this day for what feels like a small eternity. I'm so excited I can scarcely sit still. My nervous energy was so intense I actually decided to whip up a whole bunch of food for the occasion. I made a lot of sweets, Western-style treats as per Hidri's taste, cookies, brownies, and even macaroons. The table is positively groaning beneath the weight of all the colorful confectionery. I also made sure to pick up some booze to celebrate this milestone in Hidri's career. Hidri's been trying to downplay this achievement all day, but contrary to what she says, I think getting a TV animation of your own original work is a huge deal. I doubt I'll ever achieve such dizzying heights. I can't write for a toffee. Miss Sakata, my old literature teacher, can attest to that much, and even if I could, I don't have any ideas worth writing. I'm not like Hidri. I think she's incredible, really, and I think she's even more so now in the wake of Elf Force anime adaptation. I just want to shower Hidri with compliments, damn it. I want her to know how awesome I think she is, and more importantly than that, I want Hidri to accept my opinion. Getting Hidri to recognize her own talents might alas be a losing battle, but she seems so impervious to compliments. I've started to wonder whether she's allergic to them. It's customary for most people who aren't narcissists, to react to compliments with a bit of bashfulness, but Hidri really does take it too far sometimes. This is going to be so awesome. For you, maybe. Hidri shoots me a sideways glance from her arms folded. I'm somewhat less enthused. Yes, well, you made that quite apparent. I pout. Can't you try and be more into this? This is your work after all. It's going to be broadcast all over Japan. Even more people will be able to see just how cute Princess Luna is and how incredible Alphorus is too. I can hardly wait. I want to see my waifu moving. I want to hear her talking. I wonder who her voice actress is. I can tell you if you want. She's a fairly high-profile talent. As far as I can tell, not that I keep up with the industry. Her name is... No, Hijiri. I reach across the table, then press a hand in Hijiri's mouth. No spoilers, please. I want to figure it out for myself. I beg your pardon? I said... Hijiri brushes my palm away and pouting, she says... That's fine, but do I have to sit here and watch Alphorus with you? Yes, of course you have to watch it with me. I want to celebrate this with you, Hijiri. But I already know how the story goes. Hijiri pouts while picking at the tatami floor. I won't gain anything from watching an adaptation of my own work. It seems like a supremely self-indulgent exercise. Won't it give you a sense of satisfaction? No, it'll just be... Hijiri bows her head, her face flushing, and quietly she murmurs, embarrassing. Embarrassing? I blink. Do you really think so? Yes, it'll be very embarrassing. I wrote the first volume of Alphorus 4 years ago. It isn't representative of my current abilities as a writer. It's woefully outdated, really, and it's far too sentimental. I can do better. The thought of thousands of people watching Alphorus is thinking, is this the best Tsuchimi Ryu can do? Shamefaced, Hijiri continues her awkward, anxious picking at the tatami mats. It's excruciating. Thinking about it making me feel ill. Oh, Hijiri. My expression softens in sympathy for my partner. I take her hand in mine. I didn't know you felt that way about your work, but don't worry. I'm here for you. We can watch it together. I won't go anywhere. I'll cheer you on, and no matter how embarrassing you might find all of this, I want to remind you that it's alright to feel proud of your efforts, every once in a while. You deserve it. I'm not sure if that's true, but maybe. You have a point. I wrote Alphorus, so I shouldn't run away from it. Being afraid of my own story, my own success is nothing short of cowardly. Well, I don't know if I go that far. I smile while giving Hijiri's finger a squeeze. But I like if you can learn to be happy with the series you created. I'm happy with it, and I'm happy for you too. I just want to share this special moment with you. I mean, it's not every day a creator gets an anime adaptation of their own series. If you really can manage it, though. I should have glanced at the alcohol sitting unopened on the table and grin. That's what the sake is for. Huh. Hijiri laughs at this, albeit briefly. I'm relieved to know, however, that some of the tension has slipped from her shoulders. I'm not much of a drinker, but I might have to partake in it later if watching Alphorus becomes too unbearable. You really do think of everything, Mayo. I do my best. It's 'cause I care about you, Hijiri. Yes, Hijiri glances away, her face flushed. You've made that quite apparent, thank you. I'm unsure whether I really deserve your kind words, though. Of course you do. You're the best, Hijiri, and so's Alphorus. Now, I look back at the TV screen, my eyes alight with anticipation. The latest ad, something about makeup wipes, is becoming to a close, and the clock on the wall says it's 22:30. It looks like the first episode of Alphorus is about to air. I'm so excited. This is going to be great. Half an hour later. Well, that was dreadful. Huh? I stare at Hijiri aghast. Your reaction might sound a bit melodramatic, and maybe it is, but Hijiri's response, or lack of, in the face of Alphorus' first episode is pretty painful. I hope even Hijiri, critical though she might be, and incredibly unassailably grumpy, would be moved to see her own work animated, but apparently not. She doesn't look moved at all, unless we're talking in the context of her lunch being moved out of her stomach and onto the floor. That's not at all the reaction I wanted to see from her. Didn't you enjoy that? I thought it was wonderful. You would. You don't have any standards. I was rather less enchanted, however. I can think of many more enjoyable ways to pass my time, inserting pins beneath my fingernails being chief among them. Oh, come on, Hidri. Not even you can dislike it that much. Even if you don't like L4's story, which I know you don't have to admit it, it was pretty high budget. The animation was super fluid, particularly the scenes where Itsuki woke up in Crystaria. The way the wind ran through Liluna's hair. She looked so good, especially her eyes. They were so detailed. She was every bit as pretty in motion as I imagined her. Watching her felt like a dream. I still feel like I'm living in a dream. Please pinch me, Hidri. Gladly. Hidri leans in and squeezes the fat in the crook of my elbow. She squeezed with no small amount of force, actually. She succeeds in causing me genuine discomfort. Eek! I squeak and shuffle back, inspecting my arms for the damage. I think I could see a bit of red mark where Hidri's fingernails lanced me. Damn, she came to attack. How mean. Oh well, I suppose it could have been worse. Since Hidri is a writer, she keeps her nails pretty short so they don't get in the way of all of her clacking on the keyboard. As such, she doesn't have much in the way of fingernails to deliver particularly effective pinches. If her nails were like mine, we have some serious problems. All the same, it still hurt. You're so cruel, Hidri. Sob, sob. You asked for it, quite literally. Don't blame me for being rough, not when you obviously enjoy it. And how exactly did you come to that conclusion? You're making some pretty wild accusations about my character right now. It seems likely given how much patience you have dealing with me. I can't imagine most people, most ordinary people I mean, would care to give me that time of day, given I'm so prickly. You must enjoy being tormented. That's the only logical explanation behind your frankly quite illogical behavior. Here Hidri sighs and retrieves the half-drunk bottle of sake from the table. She was sipping at it in all throughout the episode of L4's, though. She went back for aggressively. I noticed when Liluna was introduced. Though she claims to dislike sake, Hidri's consumed quite a lot of it. She takes another sip, then wiping her mouth with a sleeve says, "But I must be something of a masochist myself, to sit through that with you. It was even more dire than I anticipated. I didn't have any issues with the animation. I quite agree with you. In fact, it looked gorgeous, or with the voice actors, but the caliber of the presentation only made the flimsiness of L4's basic premise even more jarring. It was readily apparent a lot of the time and effort went into its production, not to mention a lot of money, and yet... I shuffle closer to Hidri again, reassured that she isn't going to launch another assault on me, not like I have much room to judge her, even if I did ask for it and examine her. What's wrong? It might sound silly, but it was somewhat surreal, I suppose, to see one of my own stories adapted in such a way. But more than that, it made me feel unworthy. I don't think L4 deserves as much attention as it's received. It all feels so overblown. More eyes will be on L4 than ever before. What with its anime debut, but that means more criticisms will be lobbied at it too. What if people start to realize what an insipid and interesting work it is? When I start thinking like that, I can't help but worry. What? But I thought you didn't care what other people think about your stories. I don't. That's what I try to tell myself at least. But, well, I think I care a little more than I was letting on. Of course I care. I can't help it. Not as L4's creator. I don't like L4's very much anymore. But if other people were to regard it with the same disdain I do, Hidri's eyes furrow. It would hurt, I suppose, especially given it was at one point so very dear to me. Writing the first few volumes of Elforest helped me through some difficult times, but will it resonate with other people in the same way? Will they think of it silly, self-indulgent? It's a lot to consider. Oh, Hidri. I feel pretty concerned about Hidri, but I'm also flattered she trusts me enough to open up to me like this. I slide a bottle of sake from Hidri's grasp, which is a little damp, owing to the perspiration of her palms, and bring it to my lips. I take a swig from my sake myself. It's pretty good stuff, as it should be, given how expensive it was, then hasten to console her. I don't know if my words can help all that much, and I know we've been through this before, but no matter how down you might be on Elforest, a lot of people love it, myself included. I don't care if Elforest is silly or self-indulgent. It's because it's silly and self-indulgent, in fact, that it's so good. It was self-indulgent once, yeah. But it hasn't been that way for a while. I can't see the series the way I used to. It's so cliché, I don't understand its appeal. But who am I to insult anybody else's taste? We can all like whatever we want. I can disagree with their opinions, of course, and I do, but if people are able to find enjoyment in Elforest, I suppose I'm glad that I wrote it. Maybe it wasn't such a waste of time after all. It definitely wasn't. You made a lot of people happy, Hidri, and that's not something everyone can say. Now why don't you let me celebrate with you properly? Weren't we celebrating already? We were, yeah, but you've been working so hard lately, I think you deserve even more of a reward. Would you let me give you one too? Well... Hidri demurs for a few moments, her face flushed from the sake before she replies. I do suppose you owe me one after you made me sit through that episode of Elforest. I wasn't exaggerating when I said it was dreadful. I'm so sorry to hear it. I'm also so sorry I've imposed on you so much, Hidri, but right now, I want to make it up to you. You're my partner, so... I bring my face a little closer to Hidri's, then press a quick soft kiss to the side of her mouth, a kiss that makes Hidri sigh. I want to show you exactly how much I like you. Oh. Oh. Oh, okay. Ooh. Later that night. Oh. Whoa there. Achievement. All well. That ends well. Damn, they're in bed. Okay. Was that alright, Hidri? It wasn't too pushy, was I? No, I think it was fine. Hidri exhales, her breath warmth against my cheek, while her arms twine about my waist. The pair of us are lying in Hidri's beds, and the sheets wriggled crease about us after our previous entanglement. Whoa there. I've since changed into my pajamas, as has Hidri, so we're both fully clothed, more or less at least. Hidri's chest is pressed against mine, and with it I can hear the humming of her heart, beating in tandem, or so it seems, with my own. I observe her, and smiling, I say, I'm so glad I wasn't too clumsy. I've never actually done anything like that before. You haven't? Uh-huh. I shake my head. I've never dated anybody before, until I met you. I think my mother might have said as much when she started teasing me. Oh yes, I remember that, though I don't really understand it. Why not? I grinned, then nudged Hidri on the side. Knowing you, I figured you'd say, well, of course nobody wanted to date you. Serves you right. That's what you get for being so annoying. Well, I do think you're annoying. Ouch. Now that is something to say to a girl when you're lying in bed with her. For an author, Hidri can be awfully blunt at times. But annoying though you are, you're a fun person to be with. You're very cheerful, and you seem confident too, not at all like me. You don't get shy or self-conscious when you talk to other people. You're easy to talk to, and well... Hidri's face begins to flush. I think you're very pretty too. You do? Aw, jeez. Smiling beefily, I squeeze my arms more tightly about Hidri's middle. I think you're a massive cutie too. Well, thanks, but please don't squish me that hard. All of my stuffing will fall out. Your stuffing, huh? Is Hidri likening herself to a plush toy? In that case, would her stuffing be rather than a cotton fluff, her internal organs, her lungs and her stomachs, and her intestines and the like? What the fuck, Mayo? That's a pretty grisly mental image. I'd rather keep Hidri's stuffing inside her where it belongs, so I relent. Sorry about that, Hidri. I just couldn't help myself. You're so adorable after all. I guess I got a bit carried away. Yes, you do have a tendency to do that. Sometimes I wish you wouldn't. It could be a pain to deal with, but you're not being a pain right now, at least. I like you a lot, in fact. Aw, she's starting to look all flustered despite what just occurred between us. How cute. But because of that, I really can't understand why you weren't more popular back in high school. Weren't boys throwing themselves at you? If we'd been in the same class, I probably would have asked you out. Hidri glances away, her lips pursed. Not that I'd be that brazen about it, I suppose. I'm not really the sort of chase after others. So the times you drove to my house was a one-off then? Indeed. With some luck, there shouldn't be a repeat performance like that. Well, I should hope not. I never want to make you worry like that again, Hidri, so I'll be on my best behavior. How does that sound? It sounds perfect, provided, of course, that you pull it off. Well, we'll have to wait and see. I'm impulsive, like you said, so I'll probably do or say something thoughtless in the future that'll upset you. I won't do it on purpose, though. I don't want to upset you. I mean, you're my first ever girlfriend. I smile while I was playing my finger protectively against the small of Hidri's back. And to answer your previous question, not that it was really a question, I guess. My eyes seized to the corner in amusement. I was pretty popular back in high school. I had a whole bunch of friends. A few guys asked me out too. Huh. Hidri pouts. I knew it. Now that sounded pretty bitter. Is Hidri jealous about the revelation, I wonder? That's pretty cute too. But I shot them all down. What? But why? 'Cause I didn't like them in that way, I guess. It's not like I wasn't interested in the idea of dating. I'm a pretty big fan of sappy romance manga, you know. But dating somebody for the sake of dating them. I don't know, that didn't seem right to me. I would have worried about stringing these guys along, and I guess if I'd accepted any of their confessions, I would have been. My friends told me I was crazy, of course. Why don't you want to date so-and-so? He's really good looking and he seems so nice too, but I don't know. I shrug. I guess I've just never really been into guys. Well, I can relate in that part, though I wasn't popular in school, far from it. Nobody ever asked me out, though I never really cared. That's what I told myself, at least. I've never really been into guys either, or girls. Hidri's nose wrinkles. Or people in general, for that matter. I thought romance was a huge waste of time. I told myself I was above it all, that I didn't really care about it. I didn't want any kind of relationship if I'd end up the way my parents' marriage did, in tears and angry accusations and a divorce. The whole thing sounded like a waste of time and energy. Life's hard enough as it is without getting the other people involved, without making yourself vulnerable and giving them opportunities to hurt you. I told myself I was better off on my own, but there's something to be said, don't you think, to having somebody to cling to every once in a while? I give Hidri another squeeze, more gently this time, and she returns it with a shy smile. Maybe, I suppose. I mean. It isn't as bad as I feared. Well, good. I'm glad I'm not as bad as your worst-case scenarios. As for me, I don't go in for all the cynical, we're all gonna die anyway, so why bother doing anything, stuff that you do. Really? I hadn't noticed. But I've never been one to push things. I like taking life at my own pace. My friends teased me because I didn't date back in high school, but I didn't let their jibes get to me much. I always figured, like, if there's somebody out there for me, I'll meet them eventually, and if not, well, I guess that's fine too. That's just the way of life is. You mean you never once worried about being alone? Not really. Worrying about the future's never really been my thing. I mean, what if it gives me wrinkles? I think you have at least another decade before you have to start worrying about wrinkles, Mayo. I guess so. You're older than me, so you'll get there first, I presume. I giggle, then I give Hidri another nudge. You're plenty cute already, but I think you'll look even cuter when you get even older. You'll end up like a cute little prune. Mayo. Hijiri scowls, then prods me on the side between my ribs, a gesture which makes me squeak. That isn't very flattering. I meant it to be, though. I just wanted you to know, Hijiri, that I'll always like you no matter what you look like. I like you a whole bunch more than I've ever liked anybody before, in fact. I turned all my classmates down and a bunch of my coworkers later. Come to think of it, but I don't want to turn you down. I want to stay with you. I wasn't waiting on my one true love or anything. I know I'm dozy, but I'm not delusional. But I like to think I would one day find somebody that I really care about. Somebody who really gets me. I give Hijiri another squeeze. And now I've got you. I'm not about to let you go. Oh no, that sounds like a threat. Hijiri replies dryly, but I can tell she isn't upset. Not really. If she was, she wouldn't be smiling like that. Don't I get any say in the matter? Nope, you're all mine, Hijiri. To do with as I please, I can't escape. So, might as well give up. Woohoo! Oh dear, I'm starting to feel less like a valued partner and more like a princess kept in captivity. I'm starting to wonder if I shouldn't try to mount a heroic escape. Here, Hijiri laughs, the sound of though soft sends tremors through my heart, and nuzzle her head against my chest. But that sounds like too much effort. I guess I'll have to let you capture me. Yes, you do that. Resistance is futile. I won't let you get away. I don't want to. I've been alone for a long while, but now. Hijiri's eyelids heavy with sleep fall shut, and with her brown lashes matched, she mutters, I think I like this. You think? Hijiri nods. I want to stay like this. Just a little longer. I want to stay with you. We're both inexperienced when it comes to romance, but I think I'd like to try experiencing it with you, if you don't mind, that is. Of course, I don't mind. I offer Hijiri a reassuring smile and letting my own eyelids fall shut. I'm getting pretty sleepy myself. I bump my forehead gently against Hijiri's. That was the whole plan. I want to stay with you too. Maybe Princess Luna got dealt with a raw deal in Elforest's latest volume, but she's a fictional character. She isn't real. She wasn't able to stay with Itsuki, which upon reading it, really did break my heart. But Hijiri's done a pretty good job at gluing those scattered pieces back together again. While I'm sad that my waifu met such a sorry ending, I think things worked out considerably better for me. This is going to sound incredibly corny, but yeah. I really do think I was able to achieve a happily ever after of my own. Hooray! The end! Alright. Well, that is it. That is everything. We got everything. Yep. And yeah, that is going to be it of today's stream and the end of this game. Thank you so much for watching, and who knows what the next romance game will be. But until next time, take care. Have a good one.